Recording in progress.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Yarmouth Select Board meeting of April 7th, 2026. If you could please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, and if you wouldn't mind joining me in a brief moment of silence as we think about those that are serving our country and those that are in harm's way in faraway places away from their families. Thank you very much for that. We're going to begin our meeting with announcements. Liz, do you have any announcements?
I do. I'm sure it's going to come forward, but I just do want to, while we have the televised meeting, remind everybody that April 9th, there's a library building project being presented. The project is being presented at the Senior Center from 6 to 8, and the Yarmouth Community Cleanup Day is April 25th. From 8 to 10 is when you get here, right here at Town Hall. I'm going to come at 9, I've decided. And we can all get our bags and wear gloves and wear clothes, warm clothes, because it isn't cold yet. So I just wanted to bring those two reminders up. Thank you.
Thank you. Joyce, do you have anything tonight?
Well, I was gonna also push the cleanup day, but Liz scooped me.
Well,
What can I say? In the interest of a short meeting, let's go this way.
All right. Dorcas?
No, I don't. Thank
Mark?
you.
I'm fine, thanks.
Bob, you have any announcements?
No additional announcements.
Okay, let us move on to the next agenda item then. As public comments, is there anybody here that would like to address the board? Mr. Contos?
Try again. Can't
Is
tell.
the light on, sir? You might, is the green light on? You could, try the one next to you, the next. The one next to you's on. That one's flashing.
Okay.
Harris, if you could just grab that one, I think.
Green.
That one's on. Oh, now that one's on.
Musical microphones. Good evening.
Good evening.
Same issue as last time concerning the public's right to know, but instead of question one in the state auditor, this centers upon the ballot initiative this November to revamp the Mass Public Records Law, the worst in the country. You got the material in your packet. I ask that you send a letter to Beacon Hill leadership plus our own legislative delegation, as you will decide later tonight, saying that the will of the people needs to be held paramount. Per usual, Senate President Spilka is opposed. No official word from House Speaker Mariano, although he joined her in opposition to question one. And my personal experience with Senator Sear and Representative Flanagan, I am not in Representative Diggs' district, has been no response on this from either, despite repeated requests as to where they stand on the matter. A poll indicates that over 80% of voters in Massachusetts support this initiative. This time I ask that in your letter you specify to Senator Sear and Representatives Flanagan and Diggs that you expect a response within 14 days of receipt for posting on the town's website so that voters can see where their elected officials stand on this vital issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Harris.
That was under 2 minutes, right?
It sure was.
Okay.
You started at exactly 2 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you. We can't have any dialogue
Okay.
with you, but
Thank you.
I appreciate your comments. Tom?
Right. Good evening, Madam Chair. Thank you. I didn't know if there was anybody else wanting to speak. Tom Nicanal from the very historic town of Yarmouth, 387 years, and today, 150 years from now, will be our 380th year because of September 3rd. So we're looking forward to that next year of wonderful stuff that happens. So thank you very much. Also, I'd just like to have a couple of comments. First, the education advocate, I'm going to put my hat on for our library again. We had a strategic plan, 2016, 2021, extensive work about our library. We have volumes that we have like 97,000 titles, I should say, in our library, and it's only 6,000 square feet. Our new library is 25,000 square feet, which should be adequately enough for the whole town, and yes, it could support if one of the other libraries had a accident or some catastrophic incident. So it's important there that this library still get discussed and move forward. There's a standard in the industry, 10 books per square foot, and we have 97,000, so that's like 970,000 square feet we should be having, and we don't. So we talk about kids in the basement. Everything could be in the basement pretty soon. Our libraries are extremely important. Every time we go to town meeting, we have an education override, we pass it, but we don't pass any help for our libraries for the last 60 years, and they're educational too. Understandable that libraries are not for everybody. It's like boating. Boating is not for everybody, but we're a boating community, and we should be an educational community. You folks are here as our visionaries. It's nice that you can tell us that we don't have any money, but you can't tell us what we're going to be worth in the future if we don't have education. Again, it's extremely important. 1869, the South Yarmouth Library became one. For 120 years, it had no expansion. In 1990, there was a major update. Some money was spent, still too small. In 2002, we bought 215 Mill Lane for a library. We were told we had to hold off because we need a police station. We still need a library because, according to staff, this is the population now, this is the population before. 723% increase, 6,000 square feet of library. In 2007, we couldn't get a library because we had to get a fire station. We asked for a library again, DPW 2020, school 2022. Since 1961, they've been looking for space at the South Yarmouth Library because of all the yellow here. Look at all the people. It's an educational institution. It should be well vetted, and it is well vetted. We have $14 million that the state is giving us already, and if we take that opportunity, because don't forget, another community got bumped because we wanted to go through this process. So we feel bad for that community, and we also recognize that, you know, in here on our vision statement, it says we're the lowest per capita for our libraries in the region. To have a $14 million savings, and you have a 25,000 square foot library and a museum for down in the cultural center, because you need a cultural district. A museum would be perfect with the bank, with Packet Landing, Judah Baker Windmill,
Tom.
150, 1,500 visitors in 2024. They've only opened 50 days for the whole season. That's 30 people a day. If you had a historic museum down in that area, it would be beneficial for everybody. And my last comment, thank you very much, getting over the Easter weekend. Hope everybody had a wonderful time. I did some history on the painted Easter egg, and it comes to find out why we paint Easter eggs is because it's a lot more difficult to wallpaper them.
So true.
Thank you, Tom.
Is there anybody else here that would like to address the board? Okay, I'm going online. Cheryl?
Can you hear me?
Hi, Cheryl.
Well, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you, Cheryl.
Oh, okay. All right, thanks. Yeah, so I just wanted to come on tonight as a follow-up to the vote that the board took at the last meeting, when the board voted to put a politically driven question in front of our entire town. I just wanted to present you with some facts about your petitioners. There were 35 petitioners, which is equal to about 0.15% of the 22 registered voters in Yarmouth. 22,000 registered voters. 23 of those 35 petitioners are registered Democrats. 12 are unenrolled. Not a single one is a registered Republican. In fact, 80% of the petitioners are flagged, according to voter records, as strong Democrats. 77% of the petitioners are over the age of 70. 60% of them reside in Yarmouthport. This is not a ballot or a broad community input. It's political activism. And yet, 4 members of this board decided that it was enough to justify putting a loaded, deliberately vague question in front of the entire town. This board had the authority to say no to a politically charged group and require broader engagement, but it chose not to. As I stated in my last comments to this board, the ballot question itself is a rhetorical trap designed to manufacture a predetermined outcome. So the real issue is not what's on the ballot, it's what comes next. Because once this passes, and it's designed to pass, it will be waved around as a mandate to justify further political action. We were told by this group at the public comments last time that they withdrew their resolution because it caused community discord. Well, if they withdrew it, they came back with the same exact agenda, just using a different tactic. And all the while, they claimed in a sanctimonious tone that they're here to look for common ground, where clearly it does not exist. It would almost be laughable if it weren't so predictable, because we all know how this works. You disagree with them, and you're labeled, you're attacked, you're threatened, and you're accused of things that you never said. We witnessed that in front of this board courtesy of Mr. Wolf. That's not dialogue nor looking for common ground, it's intimidation. I am the chair of the Yarmouth Republican Town Committee, and I am not out here trying to force my politics onto anyone in this town. But I will not sit quietly while a small group of activists attempts to force their agenda onto all of us and uses our town election as the vehicle. This is not what local government is supposed to be. Your role as our select board is to provide nonpartisan leadership and policy direction for the town, not to serve as a conduit for radical agendas. You didn't just approve a ballot question, you set a precedent. Any partisan group with 35 signatures can now force a question onto a ballot in Yarmouth, regardless of how narrow the support, how loaded its language, or how much community discord it creates. You set the precedent, and you own the consequences.
Thank you, Cheryl. Zoom user? Adobe Glenn?
He might not have heard you, huh?
Joe, unmute yourself. There you
Madam
go.
Chair, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Still Zoom user, huh? I think I'm gonna put it on that ballot. So I just wanted to quickly, say that, again, about the regional agreement. Because with all that's going on with the DY, issues and the possibility of a new school and the feasibility study, and of course the ballot question and the override, which affects the other issues in town, like Mr. Nicanello said about the library. All those votes, everybody knows are going to impact each other. But and I hate to call it leverage, but this is what it is. If we don't get them to come to reasonable, good faith negotiations on the regional agreement to clear up all of that language, they're never going to do it. That's what they did with the other issues, whenever there was something in town, they just, in regards to the district, they address it because they feel they have to, and then it goes away for 46 years. And it's in there. The review of the regional agreement is in there. It's clear. It talks about the census. It talks about the time. It should be done anyway. It really technically is done all the time. But they somehow, that's why I've continued to ask both the district, both towns to use their town council or use their legal counsel and look at it. If I'm wrong, that's okay. But to not look at it legally when there's so many gaps in it and it's unclear just doesn't make sense to me. So I plead once again to have the town council look at it. But if we don't do it now, and as Selectman Forrest said, it's what we do for the charter. It just makes common sense to clarify it. And Dennis wants to do it because it's only fair. Whatever happens in regards to the language in it, it can change. The population changes, the formula changes. It changes because if it changes, it changes because of facts, not because it's written poorly. So I appreciate it. Let's do something now while we can, because it's once whatever happens with the budget, they're not going to go back to it. So they're not going to revisit it. So please, thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Is there anybody else who'd like to address the board? Seeing nobody, we are going to move on to our 6:15 item, which is with our finance director, Ms. Mullen, and a vote to approve the sale, issuance, and details of the town April 2026 general obligation bonds.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There was a memo in your packet with requested vote. As you can see, this is probably one of our larger bond issues that we've gone out to market for in the most recent years. And there's several projects that town meeting had voted. And so we did have a bond anticipation note last year for some of these projects, but these projects are well underway. It was the best time to go out and bid for the bonds. As the memo stated, we got a 3.416% interest rate, net interest rate. We've applied the premium to the principal and also set some aside for the cost of borrowing. And I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Is the new school still under a ban?
So that comes under the Dennis Yarmouth Regional School District.
So
So it's still in the ban for them, but it's been in a ban for a few years, so they are required to make a principal payment. And the reason why they haven't bonded it yet was because I guess there's still some outstanding items that they're trying to reconcile with the MSBA. So that's why it hasn't gone out to
Okay.
bond just yet.
So we won't be seeing that. We won't have our debt to that is part of the assessment, so.
Exactly, it
okay.
doesn't go in front of
Yep.
the board.
All right. Does anybody have any questions for Jennifer?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Jennifer.
We have to read all these motions? Okay. Who's our clerk? Mark. Mark, it says I, the clerk, so are you interested in reading these?
Don't let me pull it up.
You want to pass that to him?
There you go. Easier.
It's quite a list, but
Oh, boy. Ready?
we're ready.
Do I have to read all the numbers, too?
No, I mean, this will become part of the
Someone said yes.
record in the minutes. Just, we'll incorporate this into the minutes. You don't need to read the numbers, it's,
Just some motions.
Okay. I, the clerk of the Select Board, I, Mark Forrest, of the town of Yarmouth, the town, certify that at a meeting of the board held April 7th, 2026, of which meeting all members of the board were duly notified and at which a quorum was present, the following votes were unanimously passed, all of which appear upon the official record of the board in my custody. Voted
that the maximum useful life of the fire department Quint pumper truck to be financed with the proceeds of the $2 million borrowing authorized by the vote of the town passed on April 29th, 2025, Article 18, is hereby determined pursuant to General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 7, subsection 1, to be 10 years. Further voted that the sale of 32,545,000 general obligation municipal purpose loan of 2026 bonds of the town dated April 16th, 2026, referred to as the bonds, to Missiro Financial Inc. at the price of $35,188,888.78, and accrued interest, if any, is hereby approved and confirmed. The bonds shall be payable on April 15th of the years and in the principal amounts, and bear interest at the respective rate as follows. And then I'm going to go through this and just read these. The year 2027, $1,965,000, interest rate 5%. Year 2037, the amount $1,345,000 at the interest rate of 5%. The year 2028, $1,950,000 at an interest rate of 5%. The year 2038, the amount of $1,345,000 at an interest rate of 5%. The year 2029, the amount $1,945,000 at an interest rate of 5%. At the year 2039, the amount $1,345,000 at 4%. The year 2030, $1,945,000, interest rate 5%. The year 2040, $1,345,000, 4%. Now, I'm just going to take a pause for the moment there. What I've been doing is reading them all across rather than sequentially. Is that?
Yeah, that's fine. You can even say as referred to as the vote in the packet of the select board if you didn't want to read all
Well,
the
then
numbers.
what I'd like to do is just add that sentence
That's fine.
into my statement,
Okay.
and that I am going to include it by reference all of the references in terms of the notes in this from the statement here. And then let me go on further voted, and I appreciate people being patient with me. This is
Sorry, Mike, to even make you do this.
yeah, no, but it's important legally that this be done. Further voted that in connection with the marketing and sale of the bonds, the preparation and distribution of a notice of sale and preliminary official statement dated March 24th, 2026, and a final official statement dated March 31st, 2026, the official statement, each in such form as may be approved by the town treasurer, be and hereby are ratified, confirmed, approved, and adopted. Further voted that the bonds shall be subject to redemption at the option of the town upon such terms and conditions as are set forth in the official statement. Further voted that the town treasurer and the select board be and are hereby are authorized to execute and deliver a continuing disclosure undertaking and in compliance with SEC Rule 15C2-12 in such form as may be approved by bond counsel to the town, which undertaking shall be incorporated by reference in the bonds for the benefit of the holders of the bonds from time to time. And further voted that we authorize and direct the town treasurer to establish post-issuance federal tax compliance procedures and continuing disclosure procedures in such forms as the town treasurer and bond counsel deem sufficient, or if such procedures are currently in place, to review and update such procedures in order to monitor and maintain the tax-exempt status of the bonds and to comply with relevant securities laws. Further voted that any certificates or documents related to the bonds, collectively the documents, may be executed in several counterparts, each of which shall be regarded as an original, and all of which shall constitute one and the same document. Delivery of an executed counterpart of a signature page to a document by electronic mail in a PDF file or by other electronic transmission shall be as effective as delivery of a manually executed counterpart signature page to such document. And electronic signatures on any of the documents shall be deemed original signatures for the purposes of the documents and all matters relating thereto, having the same legal effect as original signatures. Further voted that each member of the Select Board, the Town Clerk, and the Town Treasurer be and hereby are authorized to take any and all such actions and execute and deliver such certificates, receipts, or other documents as may be determined by them or any of them to be necessary or convenient to carry into effect the provisions of the foregoing votes.
Mark, I move.
I don't think I'm done.
Oh, you're not finished?
No, I think I still have one more page at the end. No? Do I have to, or is that okay?
Just
I was done.
certifying the votes on that last.
So I don't need to read this? Okay, very good then.
Sign it.
I can do that.
You read beautifully, though.
Thank you.
I second those motions. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Passes unanimously. Thank you for your work on that.
Jennifer.
Thank you, Jennifer, just to write it up.
All right,
Okay.
have that underway. Next, we have our discussion and vote on the community preservation, the CPA warrant articles. The members of the CPA, if they'd like to please come forward. Thank you, Jennifer.
Should have been voted, but I don't care.
Are they finished? Are they ready? Everybody sign them?
I think so.
Jennifer, do you need this now? They're all signed.
Advance, that's weird.
I think everybody signed.
Sure.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you. My name is Judy Wilczynski. I am the chairman of the CPC, and
Paul Huggins, Vice Chair of CPC.
Thank you. If you want to just go over your articles that you have on the warrant.
sure. You all received a copy of our proposed warrant articles. The first couple are pretty much basic as far as what's going to be put aside for open space, historic, which is an annual thing. I have to tell you that Jennifer was a huge help with us the last 2 years in coming in and explaining the different revenues and what we should use first and what's coming in. So that she was a great help. Article 25 is the affordable housing projects. There's 5 of them. The Yarmouth Municipal Affordable Housing Trust, it's an annual, usually donation of commitment of $200,000. The Municipal Affordable Housing Trust, we are trying to repurpose money that was appropriated at previous town meetings. They've asked us to pull that because the purpose of it was to buy down, and the price of houses now is so expensive that the buy down program is not usable anymore. Hands of Hope is the rental assistance and eviction prevention. Habitat for Humanity, it's the Wood Road houses that are going in. And Harwich Ecumenical Council for Housing. And most of those are pretty normal, except for Habitat. They're annual ones that we usually get. Excuse me. The recreation projects, Packet Landing, resiliency to help with the flooding that occurs there at Packet Landing. There's been so much work done over there over the years. The DNR has asked us for $504,000 for their project there. Open space projects, we already had one last fall special meeting for the purchase of land. This one would be, for the current town meeting, is Friends of Bass River for Crowell Pond Restoration Phase 2 for the culvert to open up a better flow between Bass River and getting underneath the parking lot and over to Crowell Pond. The next one is historical preservation projects. The Yarmouth Port Library has asked for assistance in replacing the ramp, stairs, and deck. The Historical Society of Old Yarmouth, the gatehouse restoration, and then, as mandated by the CPC law, historic reserve of $146,000.
All right,
And I think that's it.
that is it.
And we had great assistance with some of the projects. this year from the State Community Preservation Coalition when we had questions about certain things that we wanted to put in our letters to groups that had asked for money. We also have had a few new members come on board. It's been a lot of adjustments, not adjustments, but new people coming in. With Gary Ellis's passing last year, I became chairman, Paul became vice chairman. We had some people that had left, but we now are full complement. Al Myers just got approved a few weeks ago to be our other at-large person, so we're moving forward. And Dawn Marie Flett, if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be here, so that's her. Did you have anything?
Thank you.
No, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to serve on that committee. I don't know if this is on.
It
but,
is.
Yeah.
But it's a great committee, and all of a sudden I find myself to be the senior member of that committee, which is really frightening. But anyway, thank you, and the group works very well together. We're very careful about what we do, adhering to all of the rules and regulations of CPC as we understand them. And again, our help from Dawn Marie is so valuable. So thank you all.
Thank you, and thank you, Judy. It's no slight to either one of you, but it's still so hard to think about Gary not being with us. He did so much work for our town, and
He was head chairman for like 20 years.
I know.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate you stepping up, and we know they're big shoes to fill, and he had such historical knowledge that, when the membership did ebb and flow, he was constant, and as you know, it's a learning curve. So I know when we had a brief discussion here before about the Packet Landing resiliency, we had questioned whether or not if there was any if you had sought legal counsel at all about that fitting into the recreation realm. And I was just curious how that fits into the recreation realm.
Well,
Go ahead.
by all means. Well, I think that the discussions, of course, you have these meetings about once a month, so you gotta really crank up your memory for some of these things. But the discussion was the valuable access to the Bass River, and there is access for folks to keep boats down there and so on, or to utilize the facility to enjoy the Bass River. And also, if you look at a point of recreation, I don't know if this was really brought up, but you think about people going down and just enjoying that site. And that's recreational in a certain sense, a little peace and quiet. And I guess it is very, very well attended. So I think that it fits into that area.
So the law used to be, and I know that some has changed, and staff probably can assist a little bit more in that. There was a period of time where, with recreation, it was very difficult for any new projects that weren't purchased under recreation to do any type of upgrades to it under the CPC law. And I'm not sure if that's changed.
Yes, that has.
So now, but we've checked with council on this particular one, with all these articles.
No, on the use of CPA for this area and protection of that park, it has precedence. In 2016, CPA funds were.
Used it.
So it's.
But for the same park?
Yes.
For the resiliency, for the water, or for just the park?
To support the park.
Okay.
And this project does as well. It's all together.
Okay. It's, I guess, a bit of semantics, but, okay. I'll go to the board. Mark, do you have any questions?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for the work that you do. It often goes unnoticed, but your meetings are long, they're very spirited, and you really roll up the sleeves, and you do a wonderful job, so thank you for all your hard work. With respect to the housing, I serve on the Affordable Housing Trust, and our town administrator is the chairman of the trust, and I want to thank you for your support for the housing articles. We're trying to be incredibly creative in terms of how we can help people with housing. So we're doing a number of what I would say unique things with our housing funds. I'm a big supporter of housing rehab and helping people as they age in place also have access to funds to make modifications to their homes or make improvements to their homes so they can stay in their homes. As you know, we have a fairly large elderly population in the community, and so for many people, it's just difficult keeping up. And so being able to provide this service, I think, is incredibly important for the town. So I very much appreciate your support for that. And in the other initiatives that we have for housing. When it comes to vote, I just want you to know, I'm going to abstain from the Friends of Bass River project because I'm on the other end of it, providing federal funds for that project. As you know, the town of Yarmouth stands to gain significant amount of federal funding for some of these wetlands restorations initiatives, and usually I'm on the other end, shaking down the federal money tree for you. So I just want you to understand the reason why I'll abstain from that vote when it comes time to vote. So that's all I have, Madam Chair.
Well, I have to say thank you as well for the hard work that you do. And having served myself on that committee for a number of years, I know just how hard it is. Can't believe you're the longest running now. I can remember when we welcomed you. It's there are so many projects, so many amazing projects in Yarmouth that would not have been completed if it were not for the work that you do. And I know Gary was always very vocal about wanting to make sure that there were signs present on all of the different items to show to the town just how much community preservation has made a difference. And this is just showing once again the tremendous difference that you make in town. And thank you to you and the committee and all the hard work. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good, Dorcas.
Joyce?
Well, thank you for what you do. I think many people in town don't realize how many different areas your committee touches. And I think you've done a good job, just even tonight, suggesting your different directions. In terms of recreational use of Packet Landing, I think the best use might be of that lawn that slopes down for people to bring a picnic lunch and just look at the water. I mean, it's also fun to go down and take a look at the fish as they're getting unloaded, which is, quite a process. But it's obviously not just for boaters. It's a beautiful place where one can just perch and think. And I'm in South Yarmouth myself. It's a quiet place. So, I mean, that can be hard to find in summer. So thank you, Judy. Thank you, Paul. We rely on your good work and the good things that you've saved for us all over town.
Thank you.
And I'll echo the board's commendations and thanks, and see you at town meeting, where I know everything will be passed with flying colors.
Thank you.
Well, I just want to say my comments aren't because I don't think the project's a wonderful project.
I get it. I get it.
I think
No.
it's a wonderful project. I just want to make sure that we're
Yep.
meeting the
I'll talk to Megan this
law.
week, and
Yeah,
I have a
she's
meeting with
there.
her tomorrow,
Yeah,
so we'll.
perfect. And I also need to abstain from Article 28 due to a work-related issue, so.
Okay.
All right, so does anybody want to make a motion to,
Make a motion that we approve the Community Preservation Act warrant articles as presented.
can you take them separately, please?
Yeah.
Article 25. We
Okay,
have to, because I have to abstain from one and Mark
I
has
don't
to
have the
abstain from.
list, so do
Okay,
you want
so
somebody else?
somebody want to move to approve Article 25 or recommend Article 25?
I can recommend Article 25.
I think it
second?
starts with 24.
I think we should start with 24.
24?
Estimated revenues.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I move that we recommend Article 24.
Second?
Any discussion on that? All's in favor?
Aye. I move that we recommend Article 25.
Second?
Any discussion? All's in favor?
Aye. I move that we recommend.
Wait a minute. Yeah, okay, that one's good. Go ahead.
Article 26.
Second?
Any discussion? All's in favor? Aye.
I abstain.
Okay.
I move that we recommend Article 27.
7.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just
That's.
Madam
that's
Chair,
the
just
one-
a correction,
Yeah,
yeah. I'm voting in favor of number 26.
26,
I'm going to abstain on 27.
Okay. All those in favor of Article 27?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain, 1. Article 28.
I recommend we approve Article 28.
second?
Any discussion? All's in favor?
Aye.
I abstain. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for all of your hard work.
Well, we have also, just as we have our public hearing tomorrow at 3 o'clock in this room. It's open to the public. We'll be going over the CPC plan that the committee has worked very diligently on to plan for the next year. Answer any questions if anybody has proposals that they want to bring forth for next fall for us to review. Now's the time we can look at it. So it's tomorrow is the public hearing here at 3 o'clock.
And it's
It will be televised, yep.
going forward, so the article
Going forward,
warrant,
yep.
warrant-
All these are done, and then
And
in
so
the
it's
fall, the
future.
applications will open up soon for the fall through early September, and then our committee will start meeting every week, going through and having the people that want to present come in each week, and then we vote on them.
Great.
To present forward.
Thank
Thank you.
I just want to add one thing. You mentioned Gary Ellis, and certainly is a wonderful contributor to those meetings. But be assured, Gary is at every meeting, because anytime somebody says, well, what would Gary do if that happened? So, thank you.
That's great. Thank you very much. We are going to move on to our 6:50 hearing, transfer of alcohol license and weekday and Sunday entertainment license from Calamari Inc., DBA De Parma Italian Table, to KG Kai LLC, DBA Jacqueline's on 28, Kevin Cofran, manager, 175 Route 28, West Yarmouth. And with that, I will read the hearing notice into the record while
This was on our desk.
we move forward.
Oh, okay, thank you.
The Yarmouth Select Board, acting as a local licensing authority, has received an application for a transfer of the all-alcohol on-premise restaurant liquor license located at 175 Route 28, West Yarmouth, Mass. 02673. The license being transferred from Calamari Inc., DBA De Parma Italian Table, to KG Kai LLC, DBA Jacqueline's on 28. The new manager will be Kevin Coffrin. The applicant is also seeking a weekday and Sunday entertainment license for indoors with recorded and live music by a DJ or live band with up to 3 musicians using an amplification system appropriate for dinner music. Hours of the entertainment will be Monday through Saturday from 4 to 9 p.m. and Sunday from 1 to 9 p.m. The hearing will be held Tuesday, April 7th, 2026, at Yarmouth Town Hall, 1146 Route 28, South Yarmouth, Mass. The Select Board meeting begins at 7 p.m. Written comments will be accepted until 4:30 p.m. on Friday, April 3rd, 2026, in the Select Board office at Town Hall, or can be submitted electronically to public comment at yarmouth.ma.us, and verbal comments will be accepted at the hearing. We have all of your application and information. If you would like to introduce yourself for the record and talk a little bit about what you're requesting tonight, that would be great.
My name is Kevin Coffrin.
I'm kidding. My name is Jeff Engel. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Excited about it. You have anything you want to start with? Or?
You're the public speaker.
All right, well, we have your application for what you've requested.
Basically, what we're looking to do is bring a whole different realm of restaurant to the area as far as our backgrounds, that kind of thing. I'm from the Rhode Island area originally, so I'm going to have some fun with that. The chowder, it's not the typical stuff. Miss Amy knows some of our background a little bit, not much. Huh? A little bit. Well, with Brillos and all that. But, so, it's basically family recipes from scratch. She'll be smacking me if I get them wrong. This is Jacqueline, by the way. I named the restaurant after my mother. So I'm going to have a good time with it. I'm trying to get staffing involved, so I'm in the front a lot, developing the customer service end, as well as watching the recipes in the back, that kind of thing. I have OCD. So I take it very seriously.
Have you ever held a liquor license before?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay, can give us a little bit about your experience?
I had it for about 4 years out there. So it was a fun time out there. Sold those restaurants and came back to New England to spend time with the family and all
Are you
that.
tips trained, sir?
Gonna be. I'll be setting that up very soon.
Okay, well, we,
The entire staff actually is getting tip certified,
okay.
just so you know.
That's mandatory that
Yeah.
you hold your tips.
Actually, I had Norton too, that reminds me. I forgot about Norton.
You had what?
I had a license in Norton, Massachusetts as well.
Okay. And I see you met with Detective Renzi and went over our rules and regulations, and I assume that you understand our rules and regulations, and we take our liquor licenses very serious in this town.
Should, yeah.
So I'm glad you're going to have fun, but we're not going to have too much fun with it.
Well, the responsibility, you know what I mean.
Yes. So in terms of the seating numbers, there's some staff that have made comments in the packet about, let me just go through it.
Building inspector?
Yeah, the building made comments about the number of seats. Here we go. The building department, the floor plan appears to indicate that there are clear aisles, which is good. Box checked in number 2. Music section does not match the detailed description provided in writing. Written description states that there will be a 3-person acoustic dinner music, but check boxes indicate there'll be a DJ and amplified system. Section 780 CMR is very clear on the standards. A certain number of criteria must be met. So I'm sure you have all of these packets and the 780 CMR that relates to about there won't be any
Dancing or
dancing.
anything.
Okay.
And the DJ, I don't know, it was a weird situation with that because it came up in conversation, because I already have somebody trying to book a party of 28, and it's for a shower or something like that, so they wanted to have a DJ come in for that. It would be something similar to something like that. There would be no dancing at all for that. It was background drop music, as far as that goes.
Okay, and your music will be interior withheld in the building, but we can take it one, we'll take it one at a time. We'll talk about the liquor license transfer first. I just wanted to make sure that you had read those comments and all the comments from staff had been addressed. Okay.
Chair, can I ask Amy why we had this on our table?
So the packet on your table that was additional has some, in light of the comments from the building department, had some changes that were made on the
we had to
weekday and
fix.
Sunday entertainment.
Now it matches.
Mr. Engel took off or he actually checked the clearly defined aisles as a result of Mr. Grill's comments. And he also, what was the other one, Kevin?
It was a sprinkler.
Oh, yes, up top, he had checked off no, that there was not a fire protection system, but after speaking with the building department, he knew that there is a fire alarm system, so he changed the no to a
The
yes.
confusion on that for me was I thought there was actually a sprinkler until I looked up on it. No, those aren't in there.
And then the other items are the certificates of liability insurance for both liquor liability and the workers' comp insurance.
Thank you.
And we will be sure and get all of the tip certifications on file before the license is released.
Okay, that will be part of our motion. Okay, is there anybody from the public that would like to speak for or against this application? Okay. Seeing none, is there anybody on the board that has any questions or comments specific to the transfer of the liquor?
No, I just,
Okay, we would take a motion to close the, well, we'll leave it open because we're still going to deal with the rest of it.
Entertainment.
Do we want to take it in whole with all the licenses, or do we want to vote on the transfer of the liquor and then the entertainment separate, or how
since
does the
there's a
board?
change, maybe we should just do them separate.
Is there a motion to approve the transfer of the liquor license?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, now let's talk about the entertainment license. Okay, there's also a description in here about where you plan to, your seating tables. Can you talk about the, where you're gonna place your music, or how it's gonna be how it's gonna be. Well, the biggest thing is just making sure that the sound stays indoors. I know you have a front porch, so to speak,
Yeah.
there. But this application for entertainment is for indoors only,
Correct.
so.
There's no speaker use outside at all.
Okay.
In fact, I took the ones that were there down already. There were some already installed outside, which I did remove.
Okay,
So,
great.
you know.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry, because I think I may have rushed you. Did you want to have a condition on the liquor license that they get the tip
Well,
certification?
I think that was part of the motion.
Oh, was it?
We're gonna hold
Okay,
it.
good.
Yeah, we're gonna hold it until they
Very
have
good.
everything, yep.
That's a required, right? No ifs, ands, or buts, we're doing that. So I have to update my own as well, so.
Does anybody from the board have any questions on the entertainment? Is there anybody from the public who would like to speak for or against the entertainment request on this license? Seeing,
Just have, Madam Chair, so Mark is all set then with what has been submitted?
Grills.
Mark
Grills,
Grills, yes,
yes.
the building inspector.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did send him the updated, the changed application with the insurance certificates, so.
He did speak about it to me and Mark.
Did you speak to
I was
him?
on the phone for a good half an hour. Yeah.
So then, does he submit something that, to you in writing that's now going to say, since what we have has some questions?
He will have what's called a certificate of inspection. When he goes to the restaurant, when it's ready, he will go over everything again at that time for the entertainment. The area where the entertainment is taking place will be pointed out. Those chairs and seats will all be arranged
Yeah,
in
those are
that
being moved.
fashion.
I think it's 33 on the diagram. I don't have it in front of me, I'm sorry. On the far wall, table 33. Is it a little square?
in the
within?
middle?
Can I get up and show you, or?
Not critical.
yeah, that's fine. If you're gonna show us where,
I just want to make sure you know where it is.
So Mark will have a,
This table here.
In the
is being-
corner?
No, right here. This one's being removed.
okay, that one's coming out, and that's where, so,
That's where the stage is going to be set.
okay,
We're putting a
34,
rubber mat floor
33.
in as well.
33?
Static guard
stage,
is the equipment. I
Right.
don't trust it.
okay. All right, and you're not increasing the number of seats that
No,
were
we're
there?
actually taking that away
Okay, good,
as soon as it's off the floor.
so it's less.
Excuse me, I have a question.
So we'll get right to you. All right,
if I can just finish what I was saying. The certificate of inspection will indicate both the building commissioner and the fire inspector's certification that everything is in order and that the code is met.
Okay, great, thank you.
does anybody else have any questions?
No.
Harris, if you'd like, you have to go to the microphone, sir, I'm sorry, but the people at home can't hear you.
Can I just grab one of these?
Yeah, come on over.
I don't know which one.
Just in general, when when an entertainment license is granted, are there limitations on noise levels?
Well, the rule of thumb is that it needs to be contained within the building. So when we're talking about outdoor entertainment, we've had, there's really no way to manage the decibels, so to speak. We tried to listen to the neighbors as we did recently on an outdoor entertainment and try to limit it to, limit the amplification and make sure that it's cohesive between neighbors and the business. In this case, it's an indoor entertainment license. We have several of them in town, and, just very much like our liquor license, we take them very serious. So if neighbors call and complain that they're being disruptive and the police find that you're violating the noise bylaw, then, that'd be a violation of your license, and you'd have to come back, you'd have to come in for a hearing. So it's really, there's no like decibel type of number. As you know, Harris, we've talked about this before with motorcycles, right? Or like drive-through windows and the microphones there. Sometimes it's disruptive to neighbors for outside noise, but this is to be contained in the building, so it shouldn't be an issue.
Okay, good, thank you.
Thank you.
Just so you know, too, the entertaining that we're doing is like, honestly, they're going to be probably a one-man show, if you will, with their keyboard. We have somebody doing Sinatra. like a Sammy Davis Jr. lookalike coming, you know, there's like a whole bunch of different things coming in. It's not anything that's gonna be over the top. It's dinner music.
Great. Great.
It's gonna be a fun time.
Is there anybody else in the public has any questions or comments? Okay, I'll take a motion from the board to close the public hearing.
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Does anybody want to make a motion?
Make a motion that we approve the entertainment license for both weekday and Sunday
Second. As presented? Okay.
as presented.
All right. Any discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. We welcome you to Yarmouth.
We're excited.
We wish you the most success. I hope you take your responsibilities serious and have no issues.
I think we'll bang it out of the park.
When,
I like it.
when can we expect a menu?
I have a rip-off of one right now.
Really?
Don't hold me to the.
No, I wouldn't.
Because I'm still moving stuff around a little bit, so I made copies for everybody.
Oh, thank you.
Well, we look,
Do not post it on Facebook.
We look forward to it.
we won't, but keep us posted and,
To give you an idea, it's not exactly, I kind of put a decoy in there if you.
Thank you.
Oops, sorry. But Sundays are gonna be
Yes.
good, because we got the all-you-can-eat family stay.
Well, and I think if it's mentioned that it's a restaurant named for the owner's mother, I mean, every woman will get there at some point.
Thank you.
thank you very much. We look forward to giving it a try.
Thank you.
And we wish you the most success, sir. All set. Thank you very much. And make sure you get your tips training to Amy as soon as you can. And
May I say, Madam Chair, that Jacqueline was one of my first employers when I was a waitress at Papa Brillo's. So
Wow.
that's when her son came in and I trained him It was 80s.
wow, wouldn't have been
I was a
the
very
90s.
young child then. I had to show her my ID to get a job.
West Warwick? West Warwick?
North Attleboro. Papa Brillo's.
Yeah, this is a Papa Brillo's.
See, now I know you're from Rhode Island.
I said, now you tell me, all these years?
I got Penny Marshall in my family. I got the nanny. You have no idea.
Good luck.
Wish you the best of luck.
Good luck. Thank you. Look
Okay,
forward to it.
next on our agenda, we have a transfer of alcohol license for 908 Bistro Inc. DBA 908 Bistro to Spice Boss Restaurant and Grill Inc., DBA Spice Boss. Grantley Edward McIntosh, manager, 908 Route 28. Now I'm going to read the hearing notice into the record. The Yarmouth Select Board, acting as the local licensing authority, has received an application for a transfer of an annual all-alcohol on-premise restaurant liquor license located at 908 Route 28, South Yarmouth, Mass. 02664. The license is being transferred from 908 Bistro Inc., DBA 908 Bistro, to Spice Boss Restaurant and Grill Inc., DBA Spice Boss. The new manager will be Grantley Edward McIntosh. The hearing will be held on Tuesday, April 7th at Yarmouth Town Hall, 1146 Route 28, South Yarmouth, Mass. The Select Board meeting begins at 6 p.m. Written comments will be accepted until 4:30 p.m. Friday, April 3rd, 2026, in the Select Board office at Town Hall, or could be submitted electronically to public comments at yarmouth.ma.us, and verbal comments will be accepted at the meeting. With that, good evening, gentlemen. If you'd like to introduce yourself for the record and give us an idea of what you're requesting in your application this evening.
My name is Grant McIntosh.
I'm Ryan Lynn, counsel for Mr. McIntosh.
Great, welcome. I see everything in here is in order. I know you have worked with Amy. You have worked with Detective Renzi to go over our rules and regulations. You want to just talk briefly about your application?
The restaurant is a family-friendly concept. We're asking for the liquor license. It's not per se a bar, but an dining experience where someone can come in, eat, have a drink. And we tend to close at 11:30. Reason if we go beyond that would be like for events like birthdays, family reunion, and all of that. All our staff will be fully trained in proper alcohol procedure. Bartenders, servers will be fully tip certified.
Are you tip certified, Mr. Grayling?
Yes, ma'am. I am.
Okay, perfect. Will you just,
All the managers already tip certified.
okay,
also.
great. Will you just make sure that the town has copies of your
Certainly.
tips training before? Okay, perfect. Thank you, Ryan. And have you held out liquor license before?
This is the first one.
This is the first one, okay. And again, I know that you have met with Mr. Renzi, and you've gone over our rules and regulations and what our expectations are
Correct.
of you as a license holder?
Correct.
Okay. All right, does anybody on the board have any questions?
No, sounds good.
Anybody on the board? Is-
I live in South Yarmouth, and I'd love to know what kind of spicy food we're speaking of.
It's not per se spicy as in hot, but it's seasoned spice.
Ah, flavorful, okay.
Flavorful.
Thank you.
All right, is there anybody in the public that would like to speak for or against the application? Mr. Nicanello?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. You know, life is all about opportunities, and Grantley has an opportunity here in our town to make a difference. And being in the restaurant business myself before, I have never met a person that does not eat.
It's funny that you say that when somebody says to me, hey, let's have dinner. I say to them, you know what's weird? I eat every night. We can do that. All right, hearing, there's nobody from the public that wants to make any comment. I'll take a motion to close the public portion of the hearing, please.
So moved.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And does the board have any other comments or questions, or would like to make a motion?
Just best wishes to you.
Thank you very much.
I move that we approve the transfer of the alcohol license from 908 Bistro Incorporation to Spice Boss Restaurant and Grill Incorporated.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed unanimously.
You don't happen to have a menu with you, do you?
Yes,
Oh, they do.
Oh, great.
Tonight's people are especially prepared. You notice that?
I like it.
I like it.
It's wonderful.
Wish you the best of luck in your business. Thank you. Welcome to Yarmouth.
All right, thank you.
Oh, you can, I think he already gave it to Amy. You're all set, Ryan. Thank you very much.
Yep,
Good job.
I do have it already.
Ooh. Take one, pass it down, I think. Oh, no, it's just one, right?
Yeah, it's one.
Ryan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Sorry,
Well,
I
you've
thought
been
it was take
approved,
one.
and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good stuff. Fried plantain. Woo-hoo.
If you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to reach out to the police department and work with them, okay? All right, great. Thank you very much. Good job. Good evening again, Megan. How are you?
I'm good. How are you all?
Looking at the menu, so, ooh, shrimp and corn chowder.
Yeah.
I love shrimp and corn chowder. Good thing I ate before the meeting. Usually I eat after, and this would just make me more hungry, so. All right, good evening. I'm going to read the hearing notice into the record to open the public hearing. The Yarmouth Select Board, acting as the local licensing authority, has received an application for a special entertainment license from Megan Eldridge, Director of Community Development, for the grand opening and coastal resiliency fair at Parker's River Landing, located at 669 Route 28, West Yarmouth, 02673. The free event will be held on Saturday, May 2nd, 2026, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and open to the public. There will be amplification and recorded music for entertainment by a DJ/MC and a tent with a small stage for invited speakers to address attendees. I'm sorry. The hearing will be held on Tuesday, April 7th, 2026, in the Yarmouth Town Hall, 1146 Route 28, South Yarmouth. The Select Board meeting begins at 6 p.m. Written comments will be accepted until 4:30 p.m. on Friday, April 3rd, in the Select Board office at Town Hall, or could be submitted electronically to public comment at yarmouth.ma.us, and verbal comments will be accepted at the hearing. So thank you very much for that. With that, the hearing is open. If you want to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about what your request is, that would be wonderful.
Sure.
Thank
My
you.
name is Megan Eldridge. I'm the Director of Community Development, and we are here for the long-awaited Parker's River Landing grand opening. This was initiated by Amanda Lima, our town engineer. She has let us know that the park will be completed by the end of this month. We're hoping April 24th to have Robert Auer be able to pull out of the park. And we have 2nd as the grand opening date. And it will be a coastal resiliency fair as well. The park was really built based on coastal resiliency, and we will have demonstrators there to really hammer the point home of how this property was built with coastal resiliency in mind. So we have scheduled a DJ/MC who will have amplified speakers to announce the people that are coming up on board to speak, and then play some music in between. We are hoping for a 10:30 start for a ribbon cutting ceremony, which will have about an hour's worth of speeches and introductions and acknowledgments of all of the hard work that everyone put into this over the last, I want to say, decade, and to highlight the grants and funding sources that came through to really make this happen. So the entertainment license is just for amplified sound music between the hours of 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. The event itself will have touch-a-truck, food trucks, a guided tour of the Upweller area. Also, AmeriCorps volunteers will be there to show people around the boardwalk and give some educational information about what they're looking at, and tell them all about the interpretive signs that are along the boardwalk as well. We will also be utilizing the vendor spaces that were created at the park. We have some crafters and informational vendors that will be putting up their little tents and tables and utilizing those spots. There'll be a face painter and yard games and lots of fun for the kids too. So we're hoping for a really wonderful weather day, but it is rain or shine. We don't have a rain date. And all the thanks go to everyone who's gone into planning for this.
Well, wonderful. We had a sneak peek at the beautiful park and boardwalk, and it's going to be an amazing event. Everything here is in order. Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak either for or against this application?
Is it going to be finished?
And I know it's cutting it close, but they said the April 24th, so we're hoping to hold them to that.
The restrooms may still have a little work needed on them.
Oh, no.
But we will have portable restrooms there for the day.
Will you still be able to have the food trucks then?
Yes, the water's on, everything still works.
The water's
Yes.
running.
Yes, the water's
Good.
running.
That's a good question. I thought that too. That's cutting it close, but we're hopeful. They're not going to have much of an option. The date's the date. We're doing it.
Parking.
Parking for this event, we are not quite sure that the grass is ready for all of the cars. The touch-a-trucks will be on it. And there's about 80 parking spaces within the park itself in the parking lot, but we will have a shuttle from Seagull Beach. So if you're passing by and it looks like it's full, please go to Seagull Beach, and there is a shuttle running throughout the entire event.
You should have a boat. It would be faster.
Well, we can ask Harbor if they want to pitch in.
Chief Frederickson, his original plan for the boardwalk was to connect it to.
Madam Chair, I just mentioned for transportation that since the park is right on Route 28, our main route, there's hourly bus service from Cape Cod Regional Transit Authority. It's the H2O, the Hyannis to Orleans. And I've taken it numerous times, very easy. And did I mention it's free?
Yep.
Very
good. It's a great
Does anybody
opportunity.
Do we want to take a motion to close the public portion of the hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on that motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Is, Mark, you have any questions?
I don't. Thank you.
Dorcas?
I don't either. Looking forward to it. It's going to be quite the day. Let's hope Mother Nature complies.
Joyce, you have any questions?
Well, you know, we live on Cape Cod. We all have rain gear. If it rains, we'll go.
There will be a tent, a small tent.
Oh, good, good.
Liz, you have any questions?
I just wanted to remind you that, and I don't know whose domain this will be, probably Jeff's office, to see about that metering of independent meter so that you can throw the charge back at the users of the park. You can monitor the electric use and charge them. No, I'm excited, very excited. I got my boardwalk plaque, and I'm ready to go. Will the kayak area be open as well?
Yes.
Okay. Now
there will
that's
be.
So we can arrive by kayak, see? See,
can
we
arrive
can't
by
come by boat.
Fantastic.
Be careful, the water's cold.
Madam Chair, one thing I forgot, I noticed in here that the Cub Scouts have volunteered to do the
Yeah.
cleanup, so congratulations to the Cub Scouts and thank you.
Wonderful. Is there a motion?
Yes, I move that we approve the special entertainment license for our very own Coastal Resiliency Fair at the Parkers River Landing grand opening.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much for taking the lead on that and getting it to the finish line. You came to our community at such a wonderful, exciting time of so many great things, and that is just one of them. So, Kathy, you know, there's no shortage of kudos to Kathy for everything that she's done to get us there.
We're making her speak, so she's thrilled.
All right, you're here for our next, I see Jeff is also here, a discussion for event policy in Parkers River Landing. So I know you've worked hard on getting this document also up and going. We had a preview a little while back, and you went back and you honed it a little bit. So I'd love to hear some of the changes that you've made since you were here last and talk about it.
So after the last meeting on the 24th of March, I took the policy back and conferred with administration and other staff members to incorporate the changes that we talked about during that meeting. One of the background part is new. That is a new part to the policy. There was comments that we should reference some history on the parcel and Article 97. So that background part is new. And it talks about how we acquired the property and the history of the property. We also included municipal event definition, as we shortened that definition. So it is an occasion or activity organized and conducted by the town of Yarmouth, period. A privately organized event that is sponsored by the town of Yarmouth is not considered a municipal event. So something like the Wall That Heals that is coming to town in September is sponsored by the Tourism Revenue Preservation Fund, so they've received funds, but it is not a municipal event. So they would be subject to most of these policies here.
And that is where that's going to be taking place? Answers that question.
Other things to note are in the applicability section is something brand new that talks about limiting the number of events per month and hours of events that will have amplified sound. This was really in response to the concern about the neighbors and the sound study. These are suggestions that I felt fit this parcel, this property. So in here we have events are limited to a maximum of 3 consecutive days, excluding setup and breakdown. Events requiring an entertainment license for the use of amplified music are limited to the hours of 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. with strict adherence to the noise bylaw. And the number of events with entertainment extending beyond 8 p.m. is limited to 2 per month, with a minimum of 2 weeks between, 14 days in between. We did that because we felt that was a compromise between economic development and promoting the place as a destination, as well as giving a diversified event space for passive recreation. People can go and use the park for a picnic or bring a soccer ball and just enjoy the space without having to have it be always booked with an event. Other things, we honed down our the application process. So we're proposing an application process where the community development director or economic development program manager would do an initial run-through of an application, and then the event sponsor would apply for it and go forward with a site plan review type of situation, where all of the pertinent departments would get together and review the application and the site plan and determine any extra requirements that might be needed for it, like a traffic management plan, a sound mitigation plan, making sure they're recycling and getting all of the permits they need for what they are proposing. And then after that initial site review, we would develop a license agreement. And in your packet is a template license agreement, and it has been reviewed by council. They've tweaked one small area that didn't get into your packet, but it references different agreement requirements. So from there, we would book events. Other changes, there really weren't any other big changes in the policy, just some formatting and having it look a little easier to read.
Great. Well, you've come a long way, and in terms of applicability, I appreciate your thought and consideration going into that. I think it's a good place to start. It might be a little bit too restrictive, but I think it will get us off the ground. It's, get the neighbors comfortable with the space, perhaps, and, we can always look at the policy again if it's not, if there's something that you see that you feel is, pertinent and important for us and we don't want to miss it. I would hope that you would come back to us to consider a change to the policy, at least to try it. But, twice a month might be a little bit restrictive, but.
And that's for events that go beyond 8 p.m. So I don't see any restriction for daytime activities or.
That's great.
Every weekend something happening there. It's just those evening hours, I think, can be disruptive.
I agree, and I think that this is it's a great happy medium that where I think the town can be successful and the neighbors can have peace as well. So I think it's wonderful. Does anybody from the board have any comments? Liz?
I'm wondering if there should be designated, and maybe this is a question for Jeff, a smoking area. What's the policy going to be on cigarettes? And
We don't have, there's no smoking usually on town.
No smoking.
Right.
I think it's a
so
no
that
smoking
probably
facility.
should be specified. Or it could, I mean, it would be out of, maybe it's something that most people
We
know.
have a
but-
policy already on parks. I don't know if this would fit into it. I think we should look at that.
We can certainly make sure that event sponsors are aware of it.
Yeah, I think it should be known, okay. I also, silly question, I've never seen the word indemnification.
It's indemnification.
I know, I think it's a typo.
Well, I had indemnification and then legal counsel
No
changed
kidding.
it, so
I spent about
I
a half
said,
an hour
"Okay,
trying to find it today. And there's no indemnification in the
He
in the
changed it to
dictionaries.
Indemnify.
Yes.
No, and the title is, the section title is indemnification. I'll be indemnified if I can find it. At any rate, I also was a little curious, in your letter, which I appreciated, the event space lends itself to large-scale events drawing in excess of 350 people. Requests for events that anticipate less than 300 people should be directed to other town-owned properties. I wondered, like, where? Because this is, if we're talking less than 350 people, they would also need music, if they are having music and they need bathrooms, where would we direct them?
Well, I actually had an inquiry just yesterday from the Senior Softball League, who have their event, their annual picnic at the LaRusso building. And they said, we can't wait to have our event at Parker's River Landing. And I said, okay, well, this might come up tonight. We have the LaRusso space with the picnic tables and Flax Pond. We have Sandy Pond, which you could utilize some space there. We have Homer Park, Peter Homer Park.
And they all have bathrooms?
They
And you
all
can have music
bathrooms.
there?
I'm sure you could ask for music.
They've had
there. I don't-
entertainment license at Homer Park before. We used to do movie nights there and
Gotcha. Good.
events.
Smuggler's Beach.
Yes, Smuggler's
Smuggler's
Beach.
Beach. If it's off season, yeah, beach.
Or
beach would be
Parker's River.
appropriate.
And my last note, which I think is part of the consideration, is resting the field. We were educated about that when we had the engineers here a couple of months ago. And so probably that needs to be incorporated into the schedule, too.
Sure.
Thank you, that's my questions.
Joyce?
Thank you. I really look forward to this. Good weather wishes.
Dorcas?
Thank you. I can see a lot of hard work went into it. Now I've learned a new word, indemnification. Thank you.
Mark?
Hi, thank you. And thanks for the work on this. With respect to revenues that we might generate there, what do we anticipate that we might be able to generate for revenues?
So in your packet, there's a proposed license fee schedule. And if we're looking at one a weekend for the season, if we look at it that way, $2,000 or $1,500 average over 10 weeks, $15,000 in a season is what we may be able to expect.
Okay. And do we have an idea of what it might cost us to
I believe
care
that-
for and
that we will have to talk to the next speaker on that.
I think Jeff's going to talk about that.
Yeah, I think what I'm interested in is that, I think the town's doing a great job in providing more and more public space. And we're not just improving parks, we're creating parks, and then we're heavily engaged in environmental restoration, particularly through the efforts of the Friends of Bass River. And my concern is the growing demands on our municipality for the upkeep and care of all the facilities, and making sure that we provide our DPW and parks personnel with sufficient resources to keep up with it. And I know that's going to be part of the next discussion, but it's very relevant to this. I think there's been an expectation that we're going to be able to generate some revenues so that we can offset the expenses. And I think this is something that we just have to be prepared as a board and as a municipality to keep revisiting on a pretty regular basis. And that'll be part of the theme, I think, for the next discussion as well, because I think our parks, our DPW, they do a good job. I'm just worried about, there's a lot of work, and the demands are growing. And my hope is that we can keep up, and to the extent that we can generate revenues that we can apply to the upkeep and provide to, and make it such that the DPW can have access to these resources, I think is incredibly important. So I think the revenue side, that picture that you laid out is pretty modest, but it's probably conservative. And my hope is that we continue to look at ways where there might be opportunities to provide public benefits where that we might be able to generate more revenue or more opportunities for revenue. So I just think that has to be a mindset for the management of it. If people want to get use of the facility, who do they call? Who do they contact?
Community development.
They contact the community development office.
For Parker's River Landing, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So is this a new part of your job description? Have we folded this in?
Description. One thing that Bob had brought up, which I think is a great idea, is to do in the January, February time period, put out a application period, a deadline for use of the park, and then we will know what we can expect for the whole year, and how much revenue we would expect, how much interest there was, but then that would kind of shut down those inquiries after that application period closed.
I think that's a smart thing to do. I think that's a great idea. I am concerned about the amount of time that it's going to put on you. I go back to the days when we were dealing with this site during COVID, and we had parties interested in using it, and at times it was almost like a full-time job. All right? And I'll be the first one to go on the record. I don't want our community development director all of a sudden finding herself in the midst of another full-time job. This is clearly something that we're diving into with a lot of unknowns. And this is the other unknown, is I want to see us be very focused on the revenue side and see where we have opportunities to at least cover as much as we can our costs. But on the other hand, I'm very concerned about staffing and being the point person for, we obviously want these facilities to be utilized, but we also need to be cognizant of how best to, manage them and interact with organizations. There was a time not too long ago where we actually thought about contracting out that. So has that been given any more consideration?
I have considered that, and there was a legal opinion that said we could have a license agreement with one vendor who could then manage the park
Okay.
for a season at a time, and that wouldn't be considered exclusive use. The vendor would have to adhere to the policy where they weren't having the same activities over and over again, or using it for more than 3 days at a time for each event that they book.
Yeah.
But putting out an RFP for an event manager wouldn't be a bad idea. They could maintain all of the bookings and the scheduling of the.
So you've given some thought to that.
A little thought, yeah. I'd like to see how season 1 goes.
First.
First.
Yeah, me too.
Mhm.
But I do think that this is something that we need to keep, on the shelf and keep fresh as a possibility. Again, I'm very concerned about the demands on you as our community development director and the demands on your time. I've seen the demands on other staff, and at times it's been pretty intensive. Some might even say excessive. So I think that's the other thing that we just need to keep an eye on. So thanks for your answers.
Well, all set, thank you.
Joyce?
Okay. Thank you very much. I think this is going to be a great resource, and I hope it doesn't become 2 full-time jobs. I'm glad Mark is looking out for you.
Liz, I already spoke, thank you.
Yeah, I think I like the idea of keeping it amongst ourselves for the first year to see. Eventually, you would like it to be self-sustaining, where you could at least maybe hire or contract somebody to help in your office to manage it. I get a little nervous when we put out an RFP and we kind of lose control of that. Because not knowing what it is. I would love to see a diverse, application process of kids events and who knows, winter events, a frog pond, maybe ice skating, who knows? I mean, it would be great if we could, again, I know our Tourism Revenue Preservation Fund has a lot to do with the shoulder seasons, but to really see events in September and October and the fringes as well is just the summer. I'd love to see food trucks and all the things that we thought of, not just the the music as we had before. So I'm excited for this. I'm excited to talk to Jeff about fees, and I think a lot of the, I think, if we can, now that we have electricity and water, I think it changes the whole dynamics of options there. And then, we have to consider, some of the nonprofits, like the Wall That Heals, and how that, is going to bring a lot of people to our town, and how, charging, how you manage nonprofits as opposed to profit corporations is maybe something else that we need to consider, as well as the consideration you put forward with municipal. At the same time, we need to cover our costs. It's always a thing. We've had fee waivers here before, but a lot of these events are labor intensive, and it takes, we need to at least cover the costs of what our employees' time costs the taxpayers. So anyway, I'm excited. Is there anybody who wants to make a motion on our policy and agreement? It says fee schedule in here, but it's not on here, so let's, it's here, but we haven't discussed it yet. So let's leave that off, but is there anybody who wants to make a motion on the event space policy and the license agreement?
I would like to make a motion that we approve the event policy and the license agreement for Parker's River Landing.
Second.
Any discussion on that motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimous. And now we will talk about the fees. But again, I think it's very important to have flexibility with this as we're learning as we go along. I just hope that, like I said, if you see things that aren't allowed or things that need to be changed, that maybe we need to look at that. You know that we are flexible and want this to be a document that, we may be amending it from time to time as we learn, one way or the other, more restrictive or not. Just feel free to definitely reach out so we all learn together as we move forward.
Thank you.
No, thank you. All right, so I'm a little confused because the fee schedule's here, but then we have the parks maintenance and mission. So is the fee schedule going to be part of your?
It was, I think it just got uploaded in a different order.
Okay.
It was part of my cover memo.
So you want to go through?
So in your packet, you do have a draft event space fee schedule. And some research was done on this by our part-time economic development program manager while he was here. And he reviewed many municipalities, not just on the Cape, but across the Commonwealth. And the fees that were charged ranged enormously, from $25 a day up to $4,000 a day. They were generally tied to tiers, so if you had less than 100 people, you paid this amount. If you had between 100 and 300, you paid this amount, and 300 or more was considered a large event. I think that for simplicity this first year, we should consider just a one tier, split into nonprofit and for-profit fee types. So on the fee schedule, we are proposing an application fee, non-refundable, and a license fee, which is the fee to use the park, and it's per day. And there's two types. There's season and off-season, May through October, and November through April. And then we have what's called a reservation deposit. That would be a deposit against your license fee, so it would just reduce your overall amount by that much, same as a security deposit. These fees are, I think, reasonable for a nonprofit, $900 a day during the on-season and $1,800 a day for a for-profit. Just thinking about the staff time that goes into reviewing the applications and getting all of those staff members together to give input. And then after events happen, a post-event inspection is going to be required by staff. And right now, DPW, that's landing on DPW. So that is something that costs money. So keeping that in mind, that's how these fees were determined.
Great. Seeing as this is a new fee proposal, we would have to advertise these?
Yeah, that was the thought, that we would advertise for the fees and adopt those. And I just wanted to add as well, I particularly advocate having a fee published for the nonprofits. You know, there are a lot of costs associated with administering this program for nonprofits. There's a lot of costs to maintain in the park, and, you know, we want to make it clear that we have an advantage for the nonprofits, and we like to stimulate that kind of activity, but it's not free. That there's a cost to everything, and we're bearing a lot of the costs. And so it's the same thing with everyone wants the town to sponsor its event, and that way they do it for free. And they still charge money, and they make a lot of money, but it goes, you know, to different things. It's not considered a profit because it's not a profit-making corporation, but I think it's clear if folks know that, look, if you have a nonprofit, you get a break, but it's not free. People know that up front, and I think that will help us.
I agree. No, I think that this structure's good. I just, because of the way that we didn't put the fees on the agenda, I think we need to advertise them. You know, perhaps we can waive our second hearing on that because we've had this public discussion, but, yeah, I think the fee schedule is, again, a good place to start to see. I like what you've done. I do think that there is a cost. I think that's a lot of work even for the application, so I like, you know, I like the thought of a rolling application also if there's availability. But, you know, if you put a deadline for a January date where you can do an analysis and look at all of them, I think that, you know, should be the first step. And then potentially we think about, yeah, if there's, you know, to get people who want it locked in and committed, and if there's any availability, maybe you can take that on a rolling stock going forward. But, you know, it's going to be trial and error the first year, and I like the fee schedule you propose. I just think that we need to advertise it as soon as possible and get that locked in. Does anybody have any questions or comments on the?
Just that I thought the differentiation a few minutes ago between town municipal events and town-sponsored was very helpful.
Dorcas, you have anything?
No.
Mark?
No.
Well, again, thank you very much for your work. I mean, for the public, I think we can read these now, just so that they know what we're looking at in case they have any comments or questions. The fee space schedule, this is just for the Parkers River Landing. An application for the use of town-owned property would be, for nonprofits, $50, and for-profit would be $100. A licensing fee from May to October for a nonprofit would be $900 a day, and for a for-profit's $1,800 a day. A license fee from November to April, so in the off-season essentially, for nonprofits it would be $450 per day, and for-profits would be $900 a day. Reservation deposit for both nonprofit and profit would be a request of $100, and a security deposit for both nonprofit and profit would be $250. So we'll get those advertised. We'll have a hearing where the public can make comments. If anybody has any comments, they can certainly submit them, and we'll go from there. I appreciate everything, Megan.
Thank you.
Exciting.
Anybody have anything else?
Nope. Go Megan.
Great. We're getting close to the finish line.
Running ahead of time,
Good job,
Madam Chair.
Megan.
May I say, I admire this.
This is wonderful. All right. Even a blind squirrel finds it, right? Okay. So we have our management and maintenance of parks.
Stay here.
Yeah.
Stay here.
Jeff is, I see Jeff is here, so he's going to help us through the next section.
No, this is great. And the screen is much better, too. It's been a big
Look at
upgrade.
you, wow.
Oh, it's technology.
Wow, you don't even have to move?
They don't have to get up.
This is like,
I'm gonna get fat.
So did you say we have a new screen?
No,
Yeah,
he's
that-
connected to his computer over here.
And the computer goes right to the screen, so you don't need that projector that was always malfunctioning.
That's amazing.
That's not even turned on.
We're moving into like the
Wow.
19th century.
We're coming right up there.
We're gonna go right around the moon.
Yeah, imagine that.
Before we start, I'd like to recognize Roby as our manager of the dump on that classic day of that will go down in infamy.
TF.
Great job, not only by you, but also all your staff. That was a tough day, and you handled it beautifully.
Day of the brush.
Bob Rittenhour for his support on that as well.
All right, thank you very much. Jeff Colby, Public Works Director, joined by Roby Whitehouse, Assistant DPW Director. And hopefully this can be a seamless transition into management and maintenance of parks. We've had a robust discussion here about one of our newer facilities, which is very exciting to have that online. And this does support the selectman goal of develop additional recreation facilities and sites. So I think that's very exciting and powerful. One of the things I've learned through my public administration classes is when a community can focus on those types of things versus the other priorities of police and fire and water and roads, and start thinking about those recreation facilities. That says a lot about the community and the priorities. And so that's all great things that we're talking about here.
What happens if you point it towards this computer?
I think I have to turn it on. There we go.
That's why he's
I'll
the
try that
chief.
next, yeah.
Yeah, that works.
He knows.
I just wanted to cover briefly the parks mission, just preserving and improving parks and resources and quality of life, year-round, leisure time experiences, all critical. A little bit about our parks division. We do have 6 full-time parks staff. We did have a recent retirement last week of our supervisor, which is unfortunate because he was such a great resource and we're heading into the busy season, but it was time for him to move on. It worked for his personal schedule. We'll be looking to fill that position quickly because being down to 5 full-time parks staff people as we head into the busy season is very challenging. As the board probably knows, the Parks Division is one that flexes their schedule from a 5-day-a-week in the off-season to 7 days a week. So there is a period of time where there's only 2 or 3 full-time people on board at any particular day because of that 7-day-a-week schedule. So it's pretty busy for that small crew. And the other challenge we've had, and I know we've talked about this during budget discussions in the past, we've received very few seasonal applications. So in the past, we've been able to supplement that year-round workforce with seasonal workers. That's typically not been the case the last few years, and this is no exception this particular year this year. So just wanted to mention that as some of the challenges. It worked well. Some of the duties, just to kind of give some background in what our Parks Division does. They do set up the fields for sporting events, leagues, maintain the sports facilities, maintain the grounds of all the town buildings. They remove the trash, litter control at all town buildings, parks, and beaches. In our summer season, that's a full-time position with the trash truck going around to all the facilities, everywhere that we have a trash can set out at landings, road ends, all that type of thing. Very busy for that crew. Managing the beach operations, including parking, cleaning the beaches, litter, daily restroom maintenance. Of course, staying on top of that's a real challenge, especially at some of our busier beaches and parks. And of course, collecting the daily beach fees also falls under the Parks Division. Some of the recent additions, we've had some discussion here tonight about Parkers River Landing, which is exciting, but just to also remind everyone, Sandy Pond Splash Pad has been a great recent addition, and the updated Chase Brook Park is under construction currently, so these are some new recreation facilities we're all very excited about. Cape Cod Rail Trail Extension is also under construction. That's a little bit longer-term project, and that there's going from Peter Homer Park all the way connecting us to Barnstable. That's a pretty exciting project. It's being administered by Mass DOT currently. The town facilitated the design as part of that partnership, but that's a pretty exciting recreation facility that will connect us to
the rest of the Cape and then on to Barnstable, and we pass the baton to Barnstable to extend the rail trail through their community. So very exciting times.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
While we're on this slide, with respect to the rail trail, are we going to be responsible for the upkeep and care of that?
That's a great question. As of right now, the answer is yes. From Peter Homer Park to the Outer Cape, that is state property for the most part. So DCR, Department of Conservation and Recreation, maintains that for the most part. As you continue from Peter Homer Park to Barnstable, that's all over town property. We have no current agreement with DCR about any kind of maintenance. So as it falls right now, that will be a town responsibility.
Do we have an idea what that might entail in terms of our responsibilities for the upkeep or the care of it?
It shouldn't be too much in the short term, other than mowing, litter, those types of things.
Right.
But in the longer term, of course, there'll be resurfacing, lines painting,
Right.
Signage replacement, that type of thing. As currently designed, there's no trash receptacles. The state likes to have these as a carry-in, carry-out type of facility, but it is something we might want to consider in the future, depending how people use that. So that could be a potential cost as well. So these are all things we'll need to factor in. As I mentioned before, it's a longer-term project. The state has given the contractor 6 years to complete that. The contractor is making very good progress, and our hope is that will be online and able to be used much sooner than that. But it is something that we need to factor into our long-term plan for maintenance and operations.
What's the time frame at the moment?
At the moment, it'll be 5 more years.
5 more years until that's completed.
Contract is up, yes.
Okay. Now, is there going to be a parking area? I notice that, where will the parking and access points be for the new, bike path section connecting to Barnstable?
For this new section, there'll be 2. You, of course, can park at Peter Homer Park, which is where the trail
Right.
improvements start.
Right.
But there'll also be a improvement to the Shell parking lot that is at Bayberry Hills. The bike trail crosses right adjacent to that property. So as part of this project, they'll be putting in stormwater improvements and paving that to make it a little bit more efficient for parking. They'll be striped and that type of thing. I expect that to be a very popular access point. And another one will be at the just north of the Rotary at Higgins Kroll Road. So
Got
it'll
it.
be a pretty good connection there as well.
Yeah.
Be very similar to what was constructed at Station Ave. Similar type of setup, layout, number of
see.
parking spaces, that kind of thing.
So that might require trash facility, some type of receptacle there and some kind of upkeep
Potentially
as
in the
well.
future, right.
Yeah, okay.
Because I think they also were planning to have charging stations there as well, I thought.
We
Higgins
put in,
Kroll.
so that as part of the rail trail construction, they don't have that.
They don't?
But the town, we have pursued an application for a level 3 charging station there. We didn't get approved on this last grant round, but it's something we're going to continue to pursue. I think it's a really convenient spot right off the highway to do that. So I think it's a good opportunity, but it's not part of the state project.
And if you have that, then you would need trash, because that's what people are going to end up doing, is cleaning out their car while they get it charged.
All things we'll have to consider, right? So those are some of the exciting parks additions. Just another kind of recap of where we stand with the DPW and buildings and grounds. There's 17 major buildings that are maintained, Town of Yarmouth facilities, in excess of 26 parks and beaches maintained. I'll highlight in a moment some of the more significant ones, the ones we focus on, but when you add in all the little ones, these are the numbers that come up. And 7 active cemeteries for a relatively small.
That's an oxymoron, isn't it?
Not active. Reasonably active.
Active burial, sure.
One for Tracy. Maybe on Halloween,
This is a map of public lands. It's shown in different colors. I don't expect everyone to read it. I think you have a copy of it in your packets, and it is also available on the town website. What it does show, and this is just high level, that 1/3 of the area within the town of Yarmouth is publicly owned. So it's a very large space that is public facilities. Of course, not all parks responsibilities to maintain. We also have close partnerships with conservation, natural resources, recreation, and of course, some of those spaces are
really untouched, open, natural lands that don't require too much maintenance, but it is a very large land area that I wanted people to be aware of. And the color coding there does indicate what some of those uses are. So here's some of the major parks and facilities. Just wanted to highlight these. This is where our parks team spends a majority of their time. We've got Sandy Pond Recreation Area, of course, that splash pad and other activities that happen there make that a pretty active location. Peter Homer Park, we've mentioned that a couple times today as far as a popular location. Flax Pond Recreation Area with the summer camp, that's also very active. Long Pond, Wings Grove, playground there. It's also a nice freshwater pond. Smuggler's Beach, Seagull Beach, of course, some of our bigger beaches. Parkers River Beach, all three of those having concessions associated with them. That's another component of that needs to be managed. Grays Beach as well, another popular location, and Fred Thatcher Playground on Route 6A are the primary focus areas for our parks crew.
Is Fred Thatcher Playground where the monument's going?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Can you go back to that last slide, Jim?
Sure.
Are we going to be adding Parkers River Landing to that slide?
Absolutely.
So that'll be an addition to it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm also interested in the inventory for all. I mean, we have trails. You mentioned before that you have a partnership with natural resources as well as conservation areas. Yeah, and or the Conservation Commission. I get the sense that, now we're not talking about their property, but they have quite a bit of property, and there are trails in those areas. Now, does the Parks Division play a role in maintaining those trails, or is that the responsibility for the conservation or some other partner?
Typically, our other partners, Natural Resources does a lot of trail maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
Parks, with the limited crew that we do have, really focus their time and resources on these locations. So those would be other partners.
Yeah. Do we know how many, and maybe this is a question that should be directed to the administrator, how many staff in the Natural Resources Division are devoted to parkland, their property, and how much they have to manage? Do we know, Bob?
Yeah, there's probably, I don't, say 1 to 2 equivalent, and then, we use AmeriCorps from time to time to get involved in some of the projects. That's a great partner and a resource. But the whole issue of stewardship of conservation lands.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an excellent topic to get into, is that we really don't have an apparatus beyond just, the DNR that focuses on like the waste to the water areas. We really don't have a stewardship focus for the conservation lands.
Mm-hmm.
It's largely volunteer efforts. The Parks Department is just simply outgunned to be able to go out and do that. So I think, moving forward, that, to identify increased partnerships where funding could come from to do some of that stewardship. And I think, that's a similar problem that's faced by a lot of municipalities, especially as the amount of conservation land grows.
Yeah, no, I think what I'd like to be able to do is develop, at least the board have an understanding as to all of the parks and conservation lands that we have. Because I think when we add it all together, it's a significant amount of real estate. Like you said, a third of the town. But it may very well be that even for the property that's under the domain of the DPW, my and again, sidewalk engineer assessment is that we're pressed time, money, staff to take care of that property. But then we have all this other property that I'm again, sidewalk engineer, but my sense is that we're probably similarly pressed in terms of how we care and provide access to those properties. Some of our conservation lands are wonderful properties, but my suspicion is that we probably don't have enough resources to support what may need to be done there. And I would suspect that DNR is under the same set of constraints. So my hope is that this is a this is a discussion that we can build on, Madam Chair, and begin for our board to have a much larger profile and understanding of all of the parks and conservation lands and what their requirements are, what their needs are. And then I think we need to evaluate the restored lands that we're looking at. Like I said, there's some very ambitious plans by community groups like the Friends of Bass River, where we hope that there are areas that we can restore and bring back to life, to bring back to ecological health. And those areas provide opportunities for public access, public use, recreation. I know in some of the areas that the Friends of Bass River have they've looked at, there are areas that one time years ago, very productive herring runs. And so we all know herring runs become very popular resource areas and visitation areas, recreation areas in a community. Now, I don't know if we'll be able to restore those areas in our lifetime, but I do think that we should at least be, or at least in my lifetime, but I do think that we should at least be focused on the future as well. So that's the other sort of dimension to this, you know, in terms of our ambitions and our vision as a community, restoring some of these other areas and bringing them back to life, they create opportunities as well. We're going to have to, as an obligation, if we're receiving funds from a variety of groups, particularly grant funds, state and federal, we may be obligated to sustain the restoration, to sort of make sure that it's properly, any facilities or any work that's been done needs to be sustained and maintained, particularly on restored sites that might involve some invasive species management, where partners that are providing funds for the restoration may insist on some degree of maintenance and upkeep. So I think these are some added components to this overall, and I think it's going to require a multi-departmental effort. It's going to require, you know, DPW. I mean, what the focus for tonight is on you, of course, but I would like to see us as a board look at all of these in totality and to look at the big picture facing the town, and then find ways where we can maybe promote better collaboration, because maybe it makes sense that we invest, from a personnel point of view, we augment the Parks Division of Public Works with sufficient resources, not only to maintain what it's responsible for, but if it's partnering with the Conservation Commission, if it's partnering with DNR, there may be some value having sort of under one umbrella, you know, sufficient staff and resources and personnel, you know, within the DPW Parks Division to provide support to the other departments that have responsibilities for the care and welfare of other conservation lands and properties. It may make sense just from a management point of view, rather than having multiple departments having to do their own thing on their own property. There may be some value in collaboration and with one department, and then figuring out a way to deal with that. I guess my starting point, Madam Chair, is that I see this as an area where we as a board need to become much more aware of your challenges. I'm pleased to hear that you're telling us that there are personnel challenges that, you know, I mean, I'm amazed that you're able to do what you can do with this level of staff. I mean, one of my questions right from the get-go, and I know we haven't even gotten to the questions portion of this agenda topic, but I've been dying to get into this because I've been asking, how do you keep up with all of this property with the number of people? Did you at one time have a much larger, more robust staff? And have we lost staff over the years? Has there been trend on the downside?
Well, that's an excellent question. This is a particular area we have not added staff previously. And to go back a little bit in history, back in 2008, 2009, with the budget cuts the entire town took through some very difficult fiscal times, the DPW took about a 20% reduction in staff at that time, and that included parks, and that has not been rebuilt since. So that's one of the reasons there's been a very focused area in which to maintain because, with less staff, you have to, pool your resources and see what the priorities are. And these were determined to be the
Yeah.
priorities, which we continue to maintain to this day.
I know.
Is that why Chasebrook Park is not on there?
Chasebrook Park is not one of what I would call our primary focus areas. It's certainly one that was in the total count on an earlier slide as far as a facility. We're really excited about the new improvements there because we're hoping that's even less maintenance as it's being a more natural type of environment that's being developed there. There won't be a lot of intensive mowing and other activities that were in the previous park. So we're hoping to do more of that, but there are some areas we probably need to shift our focus to that, with new facilities opening up.
And what about Packet Landing? Why is that not on there?
Packet Landing, again, I wouldn't say it's one of our primary locations that Parks focuses. There is a restroom there, and it is a busy fishing, location, and it's a great spot, but I wouldn't list it as one of the top 10, if you will, of where our Parks Division focuses their resources.
Thanks.
Mark, to your point, though, for years, we've, there were many years ago, if I remember correctly, that we had an intern that we brought on for a summer to identify all of our walking paths and try to, the biggest problem is we don't even have all of that in one place. We were, I'm pretty sure we had an intern who mapped our walking paths. And then, once you have it all identified, right, then you have to figure out who needs what. But this has been to no fault of Jeff's. It's just been a budget thing. That's something that we've been struggling with, just like the trees, like we didn't have somebody maintaining trees for years. We finally got a little bit of that back into the budget, but certainly I think, AmeriCorps, as Jeff pointed out, has helped us so much, but we need to even have somebody to be able to identify where our issues are, where it needs to be, the paths need to be maintained.
This sort of reminds me of the fire station and the fire department conversation, where we have had personnel needs, and it's only now that we're helping them get caught up. I think this is an area where we've made cuts because we had to, and I think this is an area where we have to have a conversation about where we can regain and where we can. I mean, to me, it's very, very important that we think about helping this part of our municipality recover from a staffing point of view and provide the resources that they need. I think it's this is a very, very difficult job to do with 5 people.
And we're adding, as has been mentioned, we continuously add more, which is a wonderful thing, but that's been a huge criticism of ours, is every time we try to take on something else, it's like, we don't have the staff to maintain what we have. How are we going to?
Right, but I'm saying it's the demand is on us as a select board. If we're going to be taking on these new parks, we've got to take care of them. We're only going to be able to get so much money and some revenue, so much. We're going to have to make decisions about where we can augment staff and provide additional resources, particularly if we're going after state and federal dollars to help build these facilities. I mean, we got significant state grant funding for the Parkers River Landing. We can't, and we're obligated to provide some degree of care and upkeep for that facility. That's the way it's going to be for a lot of these others. So I think we have to be sort of upfront to identify what additional resources we need to provide the proper level of care and upkeep for all of these facilities. And I think it's going to require more money, more staff, at least we have to have a conversation amongst ourselves and an understanding of what it's going to take to solve this problem. But we also need to be able to explain it to the voters and to the taxpayers. And as we've said before on some of these other big decisions, at some point maybe put something in front of them where they can make a decision as to what they want to do. But this is a department that, needs some help from us. I'm not complaining at all. Like I said, I'm amazed at the amount of work that gets done with the limited number of staff. And I want to provide, I'm just one select board member, but I want to provide more help. I want to know how big a deficit it is in terms of staffing and resources, not just here, but in all the departments, to take care of all of the lands that we've been entrusted with. And I think that's the kind of effort that I'm looking at developing.
Yeah, let's let them, yeah. So continue, we're going to get there.
All right, great. No,
You?
this is a great conversation, great points. There's one partnership I really need to highlight on this slide before I leave, and that is at Peter Homer Park. The golf does that. I mean, that we couldn't mow that with the resources we have. So golf, which is really just down the bike trail, comes over and mows that for the town. And that's just a great partnership. I need to highlight that because it's one of the many departments that we partner with to get the work done.
Not only in that, but their expertise for helping us to bring back those fields, for instance. I know they helped recreation tremendously for the playing fields at
Absolutely.
Homer.
So I just wanted to quickly highlight the budgets of the three different functional areas within building and grounds. I won't spend much time on this, but just these are relatively modest budgets that have seen a minor increase in this next fiscal year, 2027, to support facilities. Slight increase about $20,000 to take care of some of our aging buildings and facilities. But just wanted to highlight that. I'll go through these pretty quickly. The cemetery division, one person, so that's why the wages are as low as they are. That's also some seasonal staff budgeted in there as well, but no change in the expenses for that. And then parks, which has really been the focus of what we've been talking about tonight. There's wages include the full-time staff as well as seasonal. There is a small amount of expenses that have been increased there, approximately $34,000 in order to try to address some of the increased parks. I highlighted those on an earlier slide. The big one, of course, being Parkers River Landing. We do expect that just when we're up and fully responsible for the maintenance of that park, that we'll need something closer to $75,000 or $80,000 in annual maintenance. That's cleaning the restrooms, that's pumping the tight tank that's there, that's occasional portable toilets and off-season events. That is mowing, of course, is the big thing. There's a beautiful facility there, but that's a very large field to mow, and so all those things add up. What I will say about mowing is as we add areas where our existing staff just can't incorporate that into their regular routine, we contract that out. So we have some very good landscape contractors in town that have helped us in this regard, but those are all budget items that we need to address in the expense line in order to accommodate that.
And it's very much going to be segregated in terms of Parker's River Landing because of the income, so that it can function almost like an enterprise account, theoretically, someday.
We can identify that. Right now, the way we're set up is to have all the expenses, both wages and expenses in here, but we certainly can identify which ones go to different facilities if that's necessary. I don't know if there's been any
The
discussion
rental-
of a revolving fund for
Yeah,
Parkers River Landing,
The rental
but
income isn't going into the DPW.
Right.
There is a special revenue account for Parkers River Landing where the plank money goes towards, and we would put fees into that and utilize it for maintenance.
So, yeah, but I think for the purposes of understanding Parker's River Landing, the costs do need to be clear to put against the revenue, just for the big picture, the thinking, that are we going in the right direction here?
yeah, that'll be fairly easy to do just because of, I anticipate, at least in the short term, nearly everything that's needed for maintenance at Parks River Landings have to be contracted out. So we'll have an invoice which we can attribute to that activity.
Okay, thank you.
So just to highlight some of the challenges, we really touched upon these already, but creation of these additional recreation and parks facilities is a heavy lift. We have people like Amanda Lima in the engineering, town engineering staff that's been helping with that. Kathy Williams, of course. So, but these are all things that need to be recognized that are important things to factor in as we add facilities. Is there's the creation of those facilities, but then once those are created, there's also the operational costs. So that's the second bullet there, is just those operational costs that we've talked about tonight. Just want to highlight those, but also you probably hear this from all of the departments, but just the increasing cost associated with maintenance across the board. Inflation is the next two bullet items that are all challenges that we anticipate going forward. And to address those challenges, I always like to have some things to focus on and discuss. Adding a building and ground superintendent, which is in the FY 2027 budget, will help us out quite a bit. That is not a new headcount, if you will. That's really repurposing some funds that are within the budget. We have a vacant mechanic position. We do need mechanics, but we haven't been able to get any applicants for that. So repurposing some funds to a functional area, a supervisor that can assist with both our facilities as well as our parks and cemetery oversight, getting some of our capital projects moved forward with regards to facilities, a big piece, but then also dealing with some of these parks issues that we've just talked about tonight. Somebody that can supervise the contractors, coordinate those contracted efforts. That's all things that were be expected from this particular position. And then at some point, as we add facilities, we're going to need to talk about additional parks and facility staff. That hasn't been, the laborers, if you will, have not been added at this point, but as was talked about before, we've had cuts previously. We really need to, rebuild that and think about the future. So that really is the second bullet item. And then also increasing the parks and facilities maintenance budgets. We've seen a small increase this last year, but as I mentioned before, we just anticipate for Parks River Landing that really the full cost is closer to $75,000 or $80,000, not the $35,000, $34,000 that was added this past year. So just somebody to think about as we go forward into the future. I think
Can I
that
just
is
clarify
it.
too? Oh, questions, I can
Sure,
hold
yep.
it.
And that's just kind of a quick summary of kind of where we stand for parks, maintenance and operations, and happy to answer any questions you might have.
Go ahead, Liz.
Thank you. So the slide before, the superintendent so when we vote at the at the Springtown meeting, the budget that we will approve will include that repurposing so that you have that building and ground superintendent.
That's correct.
But
yes.
the next items, the adding park facility staff and increasing the budgets for maintenance, that's not budgeted, and you're seeking more money for the future years.
That's correct.
Okay.
Good summary.
Well, I guess I'll round it up by saying, I think it's critical that we are taking care of these parks. And because I think we're realizing that our economy is our environment, to use the quote. And if we can make Parker's River Landing a go-to tourist spot, but all along 28, we really need to improve the look. And hopefully it will influence one good-looking hotel park will influence 2 hotels down the road to try to do a better job. And so I think that's our hope for 28, is to make it, especially once the DOT comes in 2029 and starts improving the road with some landscaping and a bike path, that these parks are going to be little jewels, really, really important. But not if they go the path of Chasebrook Park, which I saw the sign for years, but I couldn't see a park. All I could see was a sign that said Chasebrook Park.
It's a modest park, but
So I'm delighted that, and your approach to not have it be a lawn that you got to put chemicals on and mow, but to have it a landscape is wonderful. You're doing a great job, and I'm very appreciative of you and Roby and the whole department. Thank you.
It's a team effort.
Yeah.
2 questions and a comment. One is a minor question. I'm probably the only person not clear on this. But when you talk about the mowing vendors, do they get counted under expenses then rather than wages?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Then the second question was more of a speculative one. We have this big April cleanup day every year, and that does, roads and sidewalks and parks. But would it be helpful to DPW if there were a fall cleanup day that just did parks that we could get volunteers out for?
We're supportive of any cleanup days. In fact, we have people that volunteer year-round. We provide them pickers and vests and trash bags, and we're happy to have that. So any assistance is appreciated.
Okay, thank you. Then my comment is, I was so delighted to see this. This is just beautiful. I mean, this is larger than the packet one, obviously, particularly because I was looking up a route on Cape last week, and there was a thing about Yarmouth. And you know, when there's the thing about your neighborhood, you always look at that while you're figuring the route that you're supposed to be figuring. And I was alarmed to see in Apple Maps on my iPhone, Long Pond labeled as Parker's River. So thank you. I mean, the record speaks for itself. The truth is out there.
Truth is out there somewhere.
Dorcas?
We do have to take some serious look at this, and as Mark's talking about, and I think we all agree, we really have to get a more comprehensive approach to this going forward. You know, like, we look at the wonderful new parks we've had, and tonight we had the community preservation here talking, and that has been an amazing revenue source for us for a lot of this. But it's very clear in the legislation for community preservation that it does not include maintenance. And I don't think it ever will. So that isn't where we have that wonderful resource available to acquire these areas. It's not there for us to maintain them. And we really do need to look seriously at the whole big picture. It's kind of like we saw our approach for the fields. Recreation came up before us, a couple of weeks ago, and it's really time for us to take a look at all of these. And I think in some ways Chase Brook Park was kind of a wake-up call for us because of how that park was when it was originally developed and what happened as a result of not being able to maintain it. And we don't want to go in that direction.
I have a couple of questions. Well, first, I just want to give a shout out to Joe Goldstein.
Oh, yeah.
Because we overlook him all the time, and I see him on Buck Island cleaning up trash
Immaculate.
more than
thanks to him.
anybody that I've ever seen before. Even more than, sometimes you see town staff, and I'm sure they're doing it in their spare time. But Joe, he's been wonderful, and we really should recognize him. He puts in countless hours volunteering. I just have a question in terms of, and I know we've done this analysis before, about hiring out contractors, a vendor, as opposed to hiring, because, we have maintenance needs all year long. However, sometimes when you have staff for that, what do you have them doing in the wintertime? So is it cheaper for us? Well, number one, I'd like to know, with all of this together, what it is you need for next year. We talk about more increased budget for maintenance and facilities and staff, but what is that number? And have you done an analysis of whether or not it's better with OPEB and all the other benefits of an employee as opposed to just doing maybe one big contract for the town? I don't know if there's savings in maybe a larger RFP for somebody to do all of it. So I would love to hear what those numbers are and what your thought is on that. I mean, I think for us, when, we're a little late in the season, unfortunately, for this budget, we have what we have for this year, but I think what you're hearing from us is for our goals potentially for next year's, when we talk about goals, that this is something that, we're continuously doing more with less. It's hard, we can say what we want. I look at the job postings, there's always postings available for DPW, and I'm not sure if there's anything for parks right now on the town website for availability, but, it's hard even if we have the money to fill the slots. So, well, what's the breakdown there? Is it, is it the wage? Again, is this something that we should be contracting out? I'm just wondering how you know, even if we say we fill the budget, we still gonna have open spots for the stuff we have in our budget, which has been, you know, a huge problem. You know, and then there's priorities. Like for me, you know, I would love, and for years, you know, I've got a few things that I want PFAS-free equipment. I want a school resource officer in every school. I mean, these are all things that I think that, you know, I've been trying to work towards. We need to work towards getting in the budget. So where does this fall on that list? You know, these are all, we have so many important things, and we're constantly trying to do more with less, is my point. So if we can be creative and, you know, maybe look at what that total number is, and maybe you can get that number to us, and then again, do an analysis long-term if it's cheaper for us to put out an RFP and let the private sector do it. But anyway, those are my questions.
Yeah, I have a couple of brief responses to that. One is for FY '28. We haven't, you know, kind of looked at that in the future, although I'm sure we'll be asked to do the budgets very soon on that as we head past town meeting and
As soon
get
as
it
we get to May, we're going to start.
the next cycle. You know, so.
Yeah.
But the best number I can give you is what I mentioned earlier about Parkers River Landing. We really feel that the real number for maintenance when we're fully responsible for it there will be to $75,000 to $80,000. So
we're
that's
about 45 short there.
Absolutely. That's
Okay.
the
That's
best I
just
can
for-
give you right now.
That's just for one park, though.
Right, right. And then the other piece versus contractors versus staff, I've always looked at it as a balance. I think that we need both. And we can't just simply grow one and not the other. It's really, it provides flexibility to have both. I will say that because of the seasonal staff challenges we've had, the full-time staff is looking a little bit better at the moment to get things done. I will also say that, also thinking about the winter operations, you know, we're very busy in the summer with, you know, all the landscaping and activities with parks, but we have not been able to get the contractors for snow removal, and that was very clear this past season. So if we had able to build in, you know, a modest amount full-time staff, it would really help with the snow removal as well. We were kind of lulled into comfort with a couple of mild winters, but once we have a difficult winter, it became very clear of the need for staff that's able to plow snow and do that consistently. So those are my thoughts.
You know, there's something that I just wanted to add a little bit into the discussion, and you know, let's talk candidly about this fiscal year 2027 budget process. That we entered this budget process with a clear set of priorities, with park maintenance and the DPW being at the top of that list of priorities. And, you know, we were only able to make a small dent in that. And just the process of filling the positions we currently have was a monumental task this year. We saw costs increasing across the board for every single functional area. Just to do existing services costs more money than we have in our available growth and revenue. And even doing so, you know, we're on the educational side, we weren't even close to making it. And you know, we really made a lot of sacrifices to get the town side in, so that we wouldn't have to do like double overrides on everything. And I'm just telling you, it is increasingly difficult. Jeff and I, we sat together and we collaborated throughout this entire process. And at the end of the day, you know, minor things we were able to do, but we left a lot on the table. And I'm critically concerned. You know, we sit down, you know, we put half the money that we needed probably in this year, and next year, I'm really not looking at a lot of areas where the revenues are just going to jump up. So I just want to say these challenges, you know, I really do hand it to the DPW. The work that they do is great, and I support them wholeheartedly. But, you know, increasingly, we're faced with the problems in public safety. You know, you saw what we had to do. That was a monumental effort just in fire to get their staffing up. And it may be that we need to do something similar to address these problems. And so I just, you know, want to say that when we get, dealing with this Prop 2.5 situation, it's kind of, we've always treated it like a dirty word to try to, if we need an override, that means a failure. But I think there's a new paradigm that is really coming in that, we're doing everything we can right now to keep it underneath 2.5, but we're leaving a lot of the services that we demand, that we need, sort of on the sidelines. And, that is going to be something we're going to have to deal with.
Well said, Bob.
Yeah, Madam Chair. I think over the years, we've been asking you to do more and more and more with less. All right, I think that's a message that is abundantly clear. The other message is that we've all been hearing from constituents all throughout the community about what a great job DPW has done through the storm, and it's been steady, it's been constant. And the reality is that we've got a good team, a good group. It's great that we got a new DPW building and we've gotten people better quarters to do their jobs in. But I think this is a major challenge that we have to confront head on. We've been asking you to do more and more with less and less. And I think we've got to figure out a way to at least come to an understanding as to where those dollars should be. All right? If we could just wave our magic wand and have the ideal budget for FY28, what should it be so that we can take care of all the things that we need to? And then I'd rather go through the budgetary process with DPW starting at that point. Where ideally do we need to be? From a personnel point of view, from a staff point of view, from sufficient resources to do contracting. I would like to look at the big picture, find out where we can collaborate more with golf. Maybe golf can help us out in a couple of other areas. Who knows? I think that's worth having a conversation. I'd like to see where we can collaborate to help with the natural resources as well as conservation. Let's look at the big picture. Let's look at all of our public lands, and let's really at least put on paper sort of an ideal scenario in terms of what we think it will take financially and resource-wise to take care of all of our public properties, and to lay out some recommendations for the future so that as we bring on some of these other sites that are restored that we want to take on, what we might need to be planning for in the future, because there will be some future work that we'll have to do. So I think this is all incredibly an important discussion, and I would like to see us maybe even think about maybe within the public works profession there's a way to benchmark where we should be. You know how the libraries, they tell you what your population is and then how much square footage you need to have for your libraries, and how big your budget should be for your libraries. Is there such a thing within the public works profession where if you have so many acreage of parks and recreation land, your budget should be in a certain range? I'd like to know where we are. I bet you we're on the low end of what the...
Yes.
Okay. All right.
There is something like that, yes, absolutely.
There is something. I'd like to, and as part of the budget conversation for FY28, I'd like to know what those benchmarks are. I think we need to be able to educate ourselves in terms of where we fit in with every place else, particularly of comparable size with the kind of acreage that we're talking about, because I think the taxpayers are getting a huge bargain. I also think that, quite frankly, again, it's amazing how much work is getting done with 5 to 6 people. I get concerned about burnout, too. I like your comments, Jeff, about building up a staff capability that can help us offset some of the other challenges, like having personnel sufficient enough to help us get through the storms in the future. Hopefully we won't have another one like this last blizzard. Yes, right. Or at least help direct traffic when people line up at the transfer station. But I've said enough. This is the conversation that I've been dying to have, Madam Chair. I'm glad we're having it now, and I look forward to more discussions about where we can sort of build a stronger vision, a much better vision for the future of our parks and all of our recreation lands. Because as I think Bob has said, the challenges are growing, but we can't at least ignore the challenges that are ahead of us, particularly here. So, thank you.
Liz?
I see one place that we can maybe help the DPW, and that is we really do need to get that solar project going on the DPW building. And I'm standing by, I know it's in your hands at this point, so, because that's, even with the school budget, you know, that was a significant amount of money that the solar projects are saving the school district. And we should have that going on the DPW building. It should be, get it, and our window is closing rapidly if we don't have something out. There is no federal tax credit after July. So that's why it's important that we do this ASAP. You know me, I'm willing to come in and spend the day just doing it with somebody.
Okay, thank you.
A follow-up question. So you're talking about a PPA that would give a for-profit corporation the tax credit, and they would fund it?
The nonprofits get the tax credits now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's, I mean, it's really the time to do it.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I think we need to hear the total number, what that is, what that looks like, what you need. There was a time when we used to have all the departments in, and I remember one year, they all came and talked about their shortfalls and where they'd like to be, and we had that before we set our goals, and it was nice for us to hear. So when we did talk about our priorities for the upcoming year, we were able to really have the full knowledge of where our shortcomings were and know where we wanted to prioritize. But it's hard to look at it in a silo, because we have all of our departments. I mean, no disrespect, we know that you could use more help, but we have so many departments that are in the same situation. So we need to hear all of it. We need to know what it is that you need, and it will help us better drive our focus into future years. So I appreciate that, and hopefully we'll get that upcoming. I am glad that we were able to make some progress. You know, it's not where we need to be, but at least we're making progress. A lot of departments aren't increasing at all. You know, as Bob pointed out, it's a particularly tough year again, as they all are, right? And not often we are able to make any progress. So the fact that we were able to make a little bit of progress, I guess, is good. But you know, as Marcus pointed out, we're putting a lot more acreage on the parks roll, so to speak. And you know, we've looked at the shortcomings of this board before, when you know, we do make cuts and we don't maintain, and that doesn't save us any money either. In the long run, you know, that we've invested a lot of money in these parks, and if we don't have people there to maintain them, it's not a good investment. So, you know, we have to look at all of that, and that's something that we're much more conscientious about now. When we do take a park or open space, it's say, okay, what are we going to do with it? Where is it in the budget to, you know, we always have to ask now, like we didn't before, you know. I mean, for years across the street, we didn't even have anybody to mow the lawn. It's been some really tough times, and you know, as our budgets are getting tighter, so are our citizens. Everything, you know, they're in the same situation as us. All the costs are going up, just like we are. So we need to be conscious about that and make sure we prioritize. So I'm excited to see what the future has, and I'm really looking forward to Parker's Landing coming on board. Mark, you want to say something?
Yeah, if you want to get a sense of the future, drive down to Chasebrook Park now. All right, it's a wonderful. It looks beautiful, and you can, and it's not, and it still has a lot of ways to go. But what's there is gorgeous, and the thing that I think it might have been Joyce or Liz, I forget who, but the connection between the parks and the beauty and the environment and the revitalization of the town. This is where you see the role of the parks, these scenic vistas that we talked about for years, right? We all talked about the scenic vistas, how crucial they'll be for the revitalization of the town. Well, you drive down there now, and it's just breathtaking. And I honestly think that when people start recognizing some of this additional work that we're doing, they'll see the value in making sure that we take care of it. because some of these views, the scenic vistas that we've all been talking about, they're starting to become evident. And I think our job as select board members will be to remind people that sometimes it costs to keep a view like that.
Yeah.
Right?
I actually wanted to just make a quick comment on that. Nate Wetton is our project manager, and I encouraged him strongly to do a presentation for our Rotary Club on Chasebrook Park. And it was a resounding response of just absolute joy that they listened to him and heard what he said and saw the photos. And the weeks after, I kept hearing from Rotarians saying, that was amazing. I had to go check it out. And they were just thrilled with it. And those are the kind of presentations and exactly what you're talking about, that these are great opportunities to show off the way Yarmouth should
Maybe he could put a podcast together for our website. That would be wonderful.
That's from your lips, not mine. I got him to do a presentation, and I was thrilled. And
Did somebody videotape the presentation? No. Okay. Well, maybe we could do it for ourselves. It'd be great for the broader audience to hear. I mean, I know that there's been a lot of changes, and that was an unexpected upgrade that we were able to do by way of, a roundabout way, but nonetheless, it's gorgeous, and I think that that's something that should be showcased.
Madam Chair, can I just ask us all to give a vote of thanks to the waste disposal area? The assistant superintendent of DPW, and of course, Jeff as the head of DPW. The new drive-through plate recognition is amazing. Everybody just glides right through. Now, it doesn't help on days when the waste disposal area is so popular that they're backed up for blocks. But, it does march it along a little and mitigate that a little. Thank you.
Thank
I hope so. I hope so. Technology at its finest.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for being here. We look forward to further discussions and further progress.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next item is the letter regarding the audit of the legislature. There's a letter in our packet. I don't know if we.
Read it to give you a break?
Sure, if you want to.
Borrow yours?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
This is a letter to the Honorable Ronald Mariano, Speaker of the House of Representatives, and the Honorable Karen E. Spilka, President of the Senate. It's regarding a legislature audit. Dear Speaker Mariano and Senate President Spilka, Select Board of the Town of Yarmouth expresses our strong support for implementing Question 1 from the November 2024 ballot. Yarmouth voters approved Question 1 by 65.7%, just as voters statewide approved by 71.4%, to authorize the state auditor to audit the Massachusetts legislature. The legislature remains the only state entity that does not permit oversight by the state auditor's office. While legislative leaders have claimed that internal audits conducted by a privately procured vendor are sufficient, the voters of Massachusetts have clearly expressed their desire for independent review. At a time when the Massachusetts legislature ranks among the least transparent in the nation and is one of only 4 state legislatures exempt from public record laws, independent auditing is essential. Government entities that self-regulate pose risks of self-interest and reduced accountability to voters. Implementing this audit would enhance government transparency, accountability, and fiscal responsibility. The Massachusetts legislature should not be exempt from independent oversight, especially regarding the use of taxpayer funds. We urge you to take the necessary steps to honor the will of the voters and allow the state auditor's office to proceed with this audit. Sincerely, the Select Board of the Town of Yarmouth.
Okay. Is there a motion to
Move that we accept.
Second.
and send the letter? Okay, any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Appreciate that. All right.
While we're still on, I just wanted to mention, I have to say, this evening, I was a little alarmed to see, with this item still wet from drying off the press, a second request for another letter to the Speaker of the House and the Senate President that was of a negative tone, and I just want to be, careful that we don't overstay our welcome with the letters to the Senate President. We have a lot of stuff that goes in front of these people, and I don't want to be the town that they don't like. So I just mentioned that. This letter is wonderful, but if we're going to do a letter a week to these guys, they're going to be really mad at
Well, I think
Yarmouth.
the difference is, and I appreciate the request because, anytime you have laws that they make for other people that they exempt themselves with, I have a problem with. I mean, we follow open meeting law. I feel like they should too, but that was not the sentiment of the vote. And the reason I support this letter is because our residents voted for this, and we represent our residents. They have not voted on open meeting records, so, while I think that's a great idea, I appreciate your comments too, and I mean, honestly, I don't think that they're gonna care about what we say, but, like anything else, and, I do obviously wanna work with our legislature. We need their funding, we need, as you've pointed out, we don't wanna be on the opposite side, but we have an obligation to represent the people of the town of Yarmouth, and they did vote for this, so I'm very much in favor of sending this. I think that, that's what was requested tonight is a discussion for another day.
There you go. Discussion for another day, indeed.
Well, and I think it was, it was factual, it was businesslike, that letter. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, unlike some letters that we have received recently as a board, just saying.
I don't know about that, but in any event, all those in favor of the letter?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. I think I already did that, but I
you did.
forgot.
But
That's,
that's
I'm
okay.
getting
It's
old.
a long,
So let's just do it again, just in case.
Yep.
All right, board and committee actions, Joyce.
Okay. I suggest that we accept with thanks the resignation of John Mantoni from the Board of Appeals.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
I move that we accept with thanks the resignation by Vicky John Janados from the Library Building Committee.
So moved.
With thanks. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I make a comment on that?
Oh, sure.
I think we are supposed to have somebody from West Yarmouth on the Library Building Committee. She was our West Yarmouth person, so just FYI for committee requirements, that post is now vacant.
So, but wait a
We're
minute.
not appointing people to that committee anymore.
Is that true?
Yeah, because the committee itself becomes
Has it disbanded?
pretty much so by town meeting, and town meeting is
Fine.
3 weeks away,
Good,
so.
okay.
Well, not if they're successful.
Yeah.
Then we'll still need them.
Yeah, well, then we can revisit that at that point.
Just FYI.
Okay. I suggest an appointment to the Library Board, Beverly Mullen, for a 3-year unexpired term that would go through February 2027.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I recommend reappointments to the Design Review Committee of Sarah Porter and Dick Martin, both for 3-year terms that would take them through March of 2029.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I make another comment? I just want to say that we're very lucky to have these individuals on this committee. It's a very important committee. As the zoning goes forward for Route 28, they're playing a very critical role. Thank you.
Okay. I present for reappointment Dennis Ribbinson as Yarmouth's representative to the Cape Cod Commission. This is a 3-year appointment, and it would run through March of 2029.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I present Hal Burlingame for reappointment to the Recycling and Solid Waste Advisory Committee, 3-year appointment that would run through March of 2029.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And finally, I present Julian Mallett for reappointment to the Waterways Shellfish Advisory Committee, where he is currently serving as chair, 3-year appointment that would run through May of 2029.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, next we have the minutes of April 15th, 2025.
I move we approve the minutes, April 15th, 2025.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I abstain. Who's not there? Upcoming agenda review. Today is April 7th. Our next meeting, April 14th, is going to be a discussion with the Board of Health. Change of manager for Longfellows, a new aquaculture lease license, designation of police assignment to the police chief and the town clerk, town meeting preview, and assignment of motions.
Did we had a packet landing update that seems to have, I believe,
An update for what? What part?
where packet landing is?
That is on, for May 5.
Okay, thank you. And then,
Oh, the resiliency project.
and the communication plan is there too, okay.
After town meeting, yes.
The Waterways Shellfish Advisory Committee would like to present to us at some point, no time pressure.
Okay. Bob, can we get Mary Alice to coordinate that? I know she's trying to still coordinate with our Assembly of Delegates rep as well. I don't see that still on here. I'm not sure if she's made any progress, but can we follow up on that as well?
Sure.
That'd be great.
And we have to add, we're now going to advertise the fees for Parker's River Landing, so we'll have to,
Well, that will take, I think you have to advertise it for a period of time, so we're not going to be able to do that next week, but
okay,
which,
I'll just keep it on the list.
well, thanks. Anything else? Anybody else at this meeting? No.
At some point, the list that we have that's on the last page is just a list of things. We have done the discussion on managing parks and buildings. Is that still something
Oh,
that's?
that was tonight.
That was
That's
tonight.
what I thought. So we can get rid of that short-term rental study,
We did that too.
okay? And the regional dispatch update,
You did
Did that too.
review policy for alcohol for permitted events on town property.
We
Oh,
did that
done.
too.
No, we still didn't. One of the things that we did not do was, we were told that alcohol wasn't allowed at events at the beach.
No, and we found out that that wasn't true,
Okay, good. Then it's good. But
Done.
right?
And then regulations
You
for,
can't drink on the beach, but if the select board allows you to have an event, it's fine.
Right, but we were going to change our policy. The policy was vague. They thought that we couldn't do it, we couldn't do an event because of the policy. So I just thought we needed to clarify that.
No, we can, I mean, it was certainly clarified for me. Well,
Okay, good. All right, fine.
regulations for use of Parker's River Landing.
Done.
And then last, discussion of lottery for tech school.
That's done.
Done.
We lost that
We
battle.
lost that battle.
We don't even need to discuss it, unfortunately.
It is, thank you. It sounds like we're going to have a light summer.
No, I don't think so.
No.
And
Okay.
So the committee came and just asked to be heard, which is great, because that's something that was in the minutes that we approved tonight.
It's from a year ago.
Yeah. But
What committee? What, I don't
in
know.
her case, she's bringing forward a request specifically from Waterways. So committees, we talked last year about having committees come and talk to us. So I don't know if we put out a little prompt to committees, or if we
No,
ask the
that-
specific
We have to
committees.
maybe invite them?
Yeah, we'll have to schedule them. We'll have to find meetings where we can bring them all in, but it won't be before town meeting.
No, well,
Yeah.
no.
But I think that's, it's the same thing with the departments, like we just talked about. We used to have them all in before we set our budgets, to talk about what their shortfalls are. Maybe that's something that we need to get back to, because, so we can hear directly from them before we set our
Right.
goals.
Piggybacking on what Joyce was saying with the waterways, one of the things that we had presented to us before and we were going to get an update on is Town Way to Water. You know where that is?
Yeah, I thought that was a great idea.
I know he was still working on it, last I knew.
Not written yet, Amy says. Not ready yet.
The draft is almost finalized, but.
Okay. There we go. And then I also,
Coming.
wanted to ask Bob, if we can have, and maybe it's not on the agenda, so we can't discuss it tonight, but maybe on your next town administrator update, what happened with the grant for the energy manager? Are they letting us keep the money even though we don't have an energy manager?
So far.
Okay. Okay. And then the various items, will there be a presentation on energy presentation? You know, like some of the items that, like Green Communities is now closing, hasn't been closed out yet, but the grants, the opportunities for the spring are coming up. And who's going to handle that, for instance?
Right. Well, we're working with engineering, and their game plan is to go for a big grant in the fall and not do in the spring.
Okay. All right. I'm just trying to keep, trying to understand who's now filling that position, so.
All right, is there anything else on upcoming agenda review?
Oh, yes, at some point, could
Hold on.
Bob also
Excuse me.
update us? I'm sorry.
Mark was.
No, I was just going to echo on the agenda. I'm very interested in the energy manager position, what the plan is there going forward. So I think it's definitely an agenda topic. So I think I was among those that had very high hopes for that position and what we could do. Again, the town of Barnstable has secured huge amounts of money to do all sorts of really good energy conservation, energy management stuff for the town of Barnstable. And I was kind of hoping that we could maybe eclipse the town of Barnstable in terms of our record of accomplishments in the area. So I feel bad that somehow things didn't work out.
Something regionalized where we can pay them a little bit to help us? I don't know if we getting the right person is hard, so, I mean, maybe it's something we need to.
Well, I think it's certainly worth I think it's, to me, I would find it helpful to kind of have an update on.
When does the grant end? I mean, can we even make progress on it at this point?
Yeah, we can. You know, we're in our first year of a 3-year, but it was only part-time. And what I discussed with Jeff is what we want to do is create that facilities manager position and designate the facilities manager position as the Green Communities and Energy Manager and use those funds to partially subsidize that position. Then we'd have a manager doing it, somebody that we can trust. But
I wasn't calling for the discussion to take place now.
no,
I just
but we
think, I think it's an agenda item
It's good to
at
know.
the appropriate time.
Then I was also going to ask for a PFAS update from Stephen, what's his name?
The airport?
Stevens. No, we had Kleinfelder. They had done some work for us.
I have some material that I can send you on that they just had a milestone, and I got some reporting on it. So, we talked about having them in again, and we want to wait a little while because it's so expensive to have them in.
Yeah,
That we
gotcha.
want to just get them in at milestone points, but
Okay.
they just gave me an update that I can share with you, and then we'll schedule them in when they feel it's the next.
All right, so
time to
Sounds
do it.
good.
upcoming agendas, PFAS and energy manager.
Yeah,
Okay. Anything else? Liz?
no.
Okay. Individual items. Mark?
A couple of items for the town administrator that I just wanted to flag. One is, and I could have brought this up, but I think I was abusing my time privileges in the discussion on parks. But
I'll do from time to time.
yeah, I periodically have, interact with the Sears family. I get asked this a lot. The Sea Holly Park, which is a park on Parker's River. It's on the north side, and some folks may remember that one time we had a Sea Holly motel on Route 28, and it was an appropriate thing to either condemn or shut down. Eventually, it was acquired. The Yarmouth Conservation Trust was involved in it, and I think the Sears family helped raise funds to create a park there. and the park has been in disrepair for a while. And I just wanted to ask Bob what the latest is. I brought it up before. If you can give me a sort of an update, if there's any news to report, what's going on, if there's any, the next time I get accosted by, someone who has an interest in it, I want to know what I can report back.
Well, the DNR is going down there to clear some of the trails and see, what they can clean out. It is all in the wetlands buffer area, and it's not a park that has permits to get down there and do a lot of work, but it is a kind of a long-term invasive species management sort of issue.
Got it.
And so we're going to start with the DNR. It is on the inventory of the ways to water that they're working to develop some maintenance on. So the first step is to get down there, try to clear the trails, clean it up a little bit, and then we may be working with the Concom with a broader invasive species management type of program.
Yeah.
But they are going to try to give it a little TLC. And it's got a nice little fishing platform down
Beautiful.
there, too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's right across from the lobster boat. I think with us investing a lot of time and energy to, with Parker's River Landing, this is another sort of companion nearby site that over the years, I think there's been a lot of hope that we'd have some more public access over there, but it's really fallen into disrepair. And it's sort of, it's a reminder to me that of the need for us to do more in terms of our parks, because this is one that's a beautiful park. It's just been forgotten, it seems. And I very much appreciate that update.
Where exactly is it? I would love to picture that.
If you literally go along Route 28 and you get to the Parker's River Bridge on 28, you'll see that it's on the eastern side of the. In fact, Bob might show it to you on the map.
Oh, I forget we have this wonderful map today.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
This is where it is.
Oh, okay.
So it's the edge, but it
Yeah.
but it is.
That
it's
little
a-
point
it's a
of the green
wetland area, and there's considerable
Right.
phragmites and things like that.
So I drove by Chasebrook Park today, and like I said, breathtaking views. But this park also has very similar breathtaking views if you can see it. So it's an area where invasives have taken over, but it's spectacular, the view. But you've got to get on the other side. You got to literally get out of your car, hop into the park, and go on the other side of the invasives, and then you could see this again beautiful, breathtaking view. It's another one of our little small parks that has provides a huge benefit to the people that are traveling in that area. But it also has a nice pier, and by the way, it's a pretty good fishing spot too. So as someone who likes to go fishing quite a bit, that's a great spot to go catch fish. Now that we've spent some resources improving the Parker's River and that bridge, right? You might as well make it easier for people to go, particularly kids to get out there and go fishing. So thank you.
Dorcas, do you have anything?
Good.
Liz?
I have a concern, and I don't know where we're at in terms of our town administrator. Is that? Can I
We
speak on
intend to
that?
clone him and keep him.
Right. Is it public?
That's not the
Well,
plan.
we can't discuss it. You can say what you want under
I would
individual
like-
items, but we can't
Okay,
just have a
so
discussion.
we can't discuss it, but I think we need to have a discussion about starting the search.
That's probably an agenda item.
That's what I'm thinking,
Yeah.
so.
So that was probably something that we should have raised before, but I think it's a good one.
You really aren't going to stay?
We're gonna clone him before he goes.
Think
Sure
about it.
wish we could.
Have another year or so.
Right.
Yeah, that's what
We're over a year away, so it might be.
We might be able to persuade them.
The process itself takes about 12 months.
But
so-
I'm definitely putting it on the agenda.
You're putting it on the agenda?
The list.
Oh.
Okay, thank you.
Bob, Mark, you had brought up the Sears family, and I was wondering, I know that at last town meeting, we had some funding for the park across the street. as well. I'm not sure at some point in time if that's gone anywhere or where we're at with that. I know I had asked you today about Gray's Beach. I know there's a lot of people in the public that's asking about the boardwalk. You had said that there's an update on the natural resources part. It just says that it's damaged. There's really not too much there for information, so maybe we could put something out about that. And I had also talked about, in Crab Creek, there's a bunch of trees that are across the creek in the middle of the river. Oh, look at that. Wow.
Yeah, it's
Thanks,
damaged.
Bob.
Is that,
I want to show you, this is
Gray's Beach
Oh, wow.
Boardwalk.
situation on Gray's Beach, and maybe this will help. Only saving grace that we have there is that the superstructure, right, of the facility is still intact. People's
Planks, yeah.
planks have not been destroyed, but there's a very serious problem with the amount of damage that's been done. As you can see, those pilings are completely separated from the superstructure, and they can't be fixed. So there's a minimum of 10 piers that have to be completely replaced. This is beyond the normal scope of damage that we see generally in the winter months, due to the age of the facility, and plus, this was probably frozen up worse than we've seen it in many, many years. So the DNR has been managing this project, but doing it in conjunction with the other town departments to do the complete assessment now that the ice is cleared, and to do the first part was to get a scope of the work that needs completion for the repair, which is substantial, and generating estimates for that work, which have come in the $225,000 range, so it's not insignificant. Now,
Insured, correct?
no, this facility is not, because this type of damage is not insurable under our insurance. If it would burn, it should, but the pilings just moving around, this area doesn't, we couldn't get insurance through Maya for it. It hasn't been insured ever. And so.
Had to pay every time. This
The
is,
funds between several different sources, we've been rounding up funds, and I think we have the funds that are required to make these repairs. They're currently, right now, preparing the scope of work so it can be placed out to bid, which we hope to place it out to bid and complete before the summer, these repairs. But it's a pretty significant problem. It's much more extensive damage than we've seen, but we're moving forward to have it fixed, and we hope by the summer to have it open. But we appreciate everyone's patience. We'll continue to update the website in terms of when the bids are released, when the work's going to be done. It's not a ton of work putting in 10, 12 pilings and connecting them, but there's a lot of mobilization, demobilization, and so. Anything I left out?
no, I think that's important for the public to hear. A lot of people have been asking, so any updates that we can get out, I think.
so what we're being told is that there's a process underway to repair this.
Yes,
And do we have a rough idea timeframe-wise, Bob?
before the summer.
Before the summer?
Very good.
That might be actually a good item to communicate to, on our website or Facebook page. It's a news item to get out there. Here, as an update.
Right up on the banner.
Is that in the works, Amy?
There's an update on the DNR site.
I went there
and
today.
I asked them to share it more broadly on social media.
But the
Well,
Department of Natural Resource site, I looked when Bob said that to me today, all it says is it was damaged in a storm. It doesn't have any update about it being.
We're seeking funding for it currently.
Okay.
So we'll update that, what exactly what we're doing. So, I mean, the idea was they put up what they had, and, it goes, but this all, over the last, I think, 3 or 4 weeks has been developing
Right.
piece by
Okay,
piece.
good.
So
Yeah, I think an update saying that we're on top of it, we're working on getting it repaired, and it should be reopened by something that gives some,
Not just on the DNR website.
No, I think-
Page, right on
Yeah.
the,
Share it on social media.
well, but also on the website.
The planks are damaged, so the
Yeah.
plank,
so put that in there, yeah.
that's also on there, but yes, we can share that.
But also on the website, on the Yarmouth website, not on the DNR website, because I don't do social media, so I go to the Yarmouth website. If I don't see it on the front page, I ain't gonna see it.
We can put it through news and announcements, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's very good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. I know it's a high topic. I have Dorcas and Liz, I have your evaluation form. I need Joyce and Marks, please, for
Yep.
the town administrator. That's it, Bob?
Did we do consent agenda?
Bob?
Okay.
We didn't do consent
I know,
agenda.
it's under town administrator items. I got it.
Oh, beg your pardon.
Yep.
Let's see, a couple of things I had for some questions that people had asked. The DPW has provided a detail on the snow and ice budget.
Yes,
And,
thank you.
Currently, they have totally for the year, $170,000 in additional overtime, $1,450,000 for additional contractor services, $230,000 for additional salt, for a total need of $1,850,000. And that's the detail on the snow and ice budget. And we also have, if anyone's interested, there's these yellow sheets are our damage assessments from the blizzard of 2026 that are broken down, which is interesting. Out of that additional contractors, there's like over $900,000 we're estimating for the removal of all of the trees.
Just on
How much?
town property?
900,
Wow.
900,000.
Just
Yeah.
on town
Yeah,
property?
mostly out of roads.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to send us all a copy of that? I think that would be good for us to know as people ask.
Well, yeah, and not only that, we're going to have to prepare something for the town meeting article anyway, because, people are already asking, so that's where that came
Yeah.
from. I mean, I'm sure they'll have a presentation to that, but
Oh,
if we could
okay.
get it out of the way before town meeting, and people can ask their questions, that's always even more helpful.
So we've got
Thanks, Bob, for that
tremendous
update.
amount of detail on that. And there was also a question on the use of the enterprise funds to support the general fund. And I think that's a bit of a misnomer. Some folks looked at in the budget for all of the enterprise funds, they carry indirect costs. And those are the specific costs that are embedded in the general fund to support the enterprise fund, all of the administrative things and the HR and the accounting and the payroll, that all goes through the town government, and it's generally accepted accounting practice to make sure that those revenues that are developed take the whole cost of the service. It's a cost accounting function. So there's no money that comes from the enterprise fund to support the general fund operations. It's only to compensate the general fund for those services directly provided. And that's always been a part of the budget. I think our finance director is, doing a, maybe a much better job now in tracking that all and allocating those. And, those are the things the auditors look for. They ask, where's your indirect cost accounting and things of that nature. So we have that all, but I think, and I've got the details on that actually for every enterprise fund, if anyone's interested
But
in.
we switched that. I mean, we've worked hard to incorporate all the costs into the budgets. I mean, when I first started here, we didn't do that. I mean, the income came into the thing, and then the general fund paid all of the liabilities, and it wasn't a clear in and out. And I think the way that they do it now is so much better, except for the fact for the the departments that don't have the income to support. It seems like for the enterprise funds, they obviously have the income, so.
So that, is information available. And also, I just wanted to, mention again, I think it's great, at our next meeting, we tried to reserve enough time to have a kind of our pre-town meeting and to make sure that we have that information out there. And in the past couple of weeks, I've also, ramped up all of our efforts working with the communication team. I've made 2 separate town meeting videos. One of them we did, and you got to watch it. It came out quite nice in the podcast format that talks a lot about town meeting generally, how we do it, why we need people to come attend. And so that's a very interesting one. And I also did my primer of going through the warrant, creating that in video, and we're able to take snippets of that. It's been heavily pushed on the social media, but also on the cable. I mean, the whole video is about 40 minutes long, but different sections, and it just breaks down the town meeting process, how the whole thing works, and what the issues are at this town meeting, how the overrides fit with everything. So there's some fascinating information, and we've been pushing that on a number of different forums. The school budget.
Can we just stop right there, Bob?
Sure.
Madam Chair? I think it's great to be spending time helping educate voters on town meeting and procedure. We have a lot of new people that have moved into the town, or people that are new to local government, let's say. They've been here, but now periodically they show up. And I think for some time we take for granted that everybody in the audience knows how town meeting works and how it functions. And so I think it's great that time and effort is being spent sort of taking a broader perspective and helping people just sort of understanding this incredible institution that we have of town meeting.
And people avoid it because of things that we say, like warrant, articles, those are like kind of fighting words for people. They don't want any part of it. And that's one of the things we try to do and break it down is, why do we call it a warrant? It's not really, it's a list of the items we're going to discuss, and each one is called an article because we need to separate one vote from another, or it would get all, and just to try to break it down so people feel like they're.
But open town meeting in New England is such a lot of people who come here have never done it before. They've never, they have basically a city council town government, and they don't know. And I love open town meeting.
I love it.
I think it's one of the greatest things.
Well, the institution of town meeting has been here since our founding.
Everybody has a
Right?
voice, and
So-
if nothing else, I always call it your license to bitch, right? You want to complain? Here's your time.
You bet.
Come on out, make your voice heard. Everybody should participate. Imagine, we have such few people that make decisions for so many, and
Right.
one person can make a difference. I always loved that when I always say to the charter school kids used to call, because they had a civics program at the Lighthouse Charter School, which was an amazing program. And they had to go to their hometown, and they had to pick an article, and they had to come to town meeting and write for and against and interview people. And they used to call me, and they'd say to me, every one of them, for years, they'd say to me, what do you think is going to be the hot topic? Which one should I pick to write about? And I said, that's the beauty of town meeting. The one you think is going to be the hot topic is not the way it happens, so.
Well, I think we should go back to the 1640s where people were mandated to show up at town meeting.
Yeah.
It would be great.
It doesn't hurt to also say again that the only place where money is expended is a town meeting. This board sitting before you doesn't have the right.
We put plans before the voters and before the residents for them to make the decisions, and that's ultimately the way it is.
And this year, finances are playing a very big role in our town meeting. We have,
It is their
potential
finance.
override questions. We have the possibility of a new library. It is a very important town meeting that everyone should try to attend.
I appreciate those videos.
You do a great job, Bob.
I think
I
they're-
hear
they're
good
very
feedback
helpful.
on them.
Good.
Well, we'll have to watch them, and we have fun making them, and it goes on and on. And now there's a school budget forum that they're trying to work out the details. It's either going to be the 22nd or the 23rd at the senior center. And as soon as those details are worked out,
You'll share that with us?
we're going to have those publicized, and you'll get
Is that for both DY and Tech, or just?
DY.
Yeah.
This is the
So
DY.
they're, okay.
And that leads me to a remark, and that is that I'm hoping that the presentation on the budget and the costs, which will lead to a request for an override, needs to be handled well, and I'm hoping that you can have some input there. I know it's not your world, it's our
Yeah,
superintendent's
I think you got to
world.
make another call to some, you got to
No, we're-
talk to the school folks.
We're in, close communications with the school department, and we'll try to set them up for success. We're working together with them, and and people need to understand that it's not a school really versus town situation in any way, shape, or form. We're all suffering from the same issues of these rising costs, and if the school department is unsuccessful in being able to, reach their minimum funding to deliver their services, that is going to have a tremendously negative impact on our entire town government, our entire town population.
Our
We're
vision,
not
our
divorced
plan.
from them. It is, we're all together in one issue, and so if the school can't get their minimum standards met, ultimately, that will take resources from the town, and we've already talked about how there's just no wiggle room. So if we have to make additional sacrifices in order to get minimum standards in the classroom, that directly impacts the town. It's not either or, it's all together. And so, we're working with the school. We know that they need to have a minimum level of expenditure, and so it's.
Bless you.
But in helping everybody, our residents and our public understand that the price we pay if we don't support the school, too, because it's not an either or. And if we don't have we're in competition with the other schools, and we're losing. And so there's a reality there, too, of keeping the standards up serves us.
Madam Chair, while we're on town meeting, I have a town meeting question, and that is the town report. When do we expect the town report to be done? Normally, it's usually right around this time.
Yeah, the town meeting, the annual town report will come out within, usually it comes out a week before town meeting.
Okay.
So it's done.
Yeah, and I appreciate, it looks like we have on our website the warrant, or the list of articles.
Oh, yeah,
as
the
we
warrant's
call them.
out.
Yeah, which is good. No, at times it's been challenging to get it up on the website quickly, but it's
We got it
there.
right
It's-
up
yeah,
the day you guys approved it.
yeah, thank you.
Are you done with your updates, Bob?
Yeah, I think so. Just wanted to mention, we talked a little bit about there is this week, Thursday, 6 to 8 at the Senior Center, a library community forum, and it's good to see that activity. Get out there in the community, present it.
What time?
6 to 8, and that's at the Senior Center. And 2:30 p.m. tomorrow, we've got that Mass DOT briefing where we're going to hear what their
Latest,
proposed resolution on the Route 6 Bass River Bridge is going to be. So we're told it's not as draconian as they first thought. They wanted to hold off meeting on it until they made their presentation, so I'm looking forward to it very much.
That makes me nervous that they can suddenly decide that it's not as draconian as they thought.
Well, they told me they went back and they met with the Mass Highway Administration officials, where the first time they just went by the guidelines. And they went and had some additional meetings to determine if there's any additional flexibility that they could gain and still be within the guidelines of federal highway. And it looks like they had some type of compromise. We're going to find out more. I don't have the total details, but
Yeah.
they tell me I'll be happier than we were the last time.
Well, that's not saying much. Okay, all right,
all I had.
thank you very much. Can somebody move
I move the consent agenda.
is there a second?
Second, can I make a comment?
Sure.
I just want to say the Rotary Club of Yarmouth. Wow. What a fantastic donation. It's $8,000 worth of flag and flagpole to go up at Park River Landing. Thank you.
So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? For anything else? A motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Recording stop.